Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
Talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy Austin Ward. My good buddy Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lavery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Tiberi here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah,
and then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only two guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
Hot and ready on a first Friday edition of the program. It's steamy out. Reeser, Baker, Dylan. The AV cart rolls along. How are you, gentlemen?
Reese, I'm doing great, and you got me thinking of pizza now with that hot and ready.
Mm-hmm. When do you not think of pizza?
I wasn't until just then.
I thought you said that was the one thing you could eat every day.
It is the one thing I could eat every day, but food was nowhere near my brainwave. Surprisingly, here as we started the show, it is now, though.
Okay. What was in your brainwave before food?
Having a great show and what we're going to talk about and the great guests we're going to have.
We're going to have a show. It'll be 3 hours. As you told Bone and Tyvis, we'll have Adam Jardy on at 9:30. I want to see his confidence because he spoke with the ultra-confident Ross Bjork, and I want to gauge Jardy's confidence on Ohio State basketball and if it can compete in the wide new world of college athletics with the likes of St. John's and Villanova, who don't have a powerhouse football program that also takes up some of their athletic revenue. But Jardy will join us at 9:30. We'll get Jake Trotter on at 10:30. I heard Tyvis has a question for him. We're probably not going to get to Browns talk because I don't want to drag this program down with that. I think we did some the past couple of days. Trotter's the senior college football reporter at ESPN. He's also a gigantic Oklahoma City Thunder fan, being an OKC native. So he's probably still hungover from the championship and the ensuing celebration, which I don't know if you saw any of the images from the Thunder parade, but it was a hot and steamy one there too. And I was talking with my girlfriend about this. We were watching on the morning news. I think Good Morning America had shots of it, and it's 105 degrees in OKC for the parade. And as one is to do during it, players are popping champagne and spraying it all over the crowd. And I turned to her and I go, I don't know if I'm out in that heat. I'm really feeling getting sprayed with champagne. And her, not being a sports fan, said to me, that's kind of what you sign up for in those events. I was like, yeah, that's true. When you're going to a championship parade, like it's kind of like getting on a water slide. Well, if you don't want to get wet, don't attend. But man, hot and steamy again today in Columbus. So if you're going outside, hydrate, put on some sunscreen. I think we're supposed to get some rain later, but as it stands right now, a hot one. Another hot one.
Speaking of the heat, I did this poll on my Instagram, and I'm just a guest here, so I don't know if you guys want to put it on the show poll. I put, would you rather it be 5 above 0 or 5 above 100? It's still going on right now. It is very 50-50. I did not think it was going to be 50-50. I thought everyone was going to be on our side, Reese, and say that they would rather have the heat. Mm-hmm. But no, it's a dead race right now still.
Well, and a lot of times in those polls, you get recency bias, right? And people are miserable right now.
Right.
It's so hot outside and whatnot, so maybe so. I know that most people are not on my side of this argument usually. At least I don't think so. It's usually me and Common Man, like Champion.
Yep.
And Matty Ice, he likes it when it's gray and rainy outside.
Man and Timmy were talking about it yesterday, and I think they were very much, I think they had bagpipes playing in the background. We're feeling the weather in Scotland where it was 50s and hazy 364 days out of the year there. And I think you're right to the recency bias point is where we're sitting here in 95-degree heat, feeling like 105. We're like, boy, I wish it would be 45 and cloudy. But no, I'm on the side of 5 over 100.
I know you are, and we'll be disagreeing on that.
Some like it hot. Some is me. You had about 32,000 that braved the heat last night in Cincinnati.
Speaking of 100 heat.
For the debut of one Chase Burns. The righty out of Tennessee was the second overall pick in the 2024 Major League Baseball draft. And I think this was something that Reds fans were looking forward to at the beginning of the season when this was probably going to happen this year, which says a lot about about a player's readiness, that less than a year in the minors, he's ready to go in the bigs. And he impressed. This from Mike Petraglia, who we had on yesterday previewing the debut for Burns. Major leaguers in expansion era to have their first 6 outs of their MLB debut come via strikeout: Chase Burns, Wade Davis, and Al Leiter, if I said that correctly. Al Leiter, thank you.
An interesting fact about Al Leiter, his nephew, Mark, whose dad was also a Major League Baseball pitcher, picked up the loss last night in that game.
So you had him go Burns last night, 3 innings of scoreless baseball, an incredible debut. And 32,000 again got to see him really give the Reds, I think, more hope than what you even had going into yesterday. Just some hope for what this year could be for a squad that ended up walking off on the Yankees in 11 innings. You had Christian Encarnacion strand with a 3-run double that tied the game. They had bases loaded, and that was at the point where I want to say 5 or 6 minutes later, George Springer up in Cleveland hit a grand slam. So my emotions were kind of all over the place because, boy, the Guardians just aren't doing it for me right now. But for your Redlegs, there's a lot of hope for that organization. And dare I say, are the Reds good? Or dare I ask?
Well, you got to think here. We're 80 games into the season, right? So just about the midway point of the season for the Reds. They got a game today against the Yankees. They go for the sweep, which you can hear part of on the Fan later today, all of it over on ESPN Columbus. You are what your record says you are, right? And what the Reds are right now is a team that has been hot. They've won 7 of their last 10, and they're 4 games above 500. They're 2 games out of the wild card. They're 4.5 back of the Cubs for the NL Central. I don't know if 42-38, if you push that over a whole season of baseball, you double that, you're going to be at 84 and 76, a couple games. So you're right about an 85 and 79 team. I don't know if that's good. That's close to making the playoffs for you. You'll be battling in the wild card the whole way. So I don't know if that's good. I think there's still a lot of holes in this Reds lineup. They have a tough time against left-handed pitching. They need a right-handed power bat. And I don't know who that is. If it's Matt McLain and Spencer Steer to continue playing the way they have recently, if it's Christian Encarnacion Strand to live up to his potential, if it's Austin Hayes, who's had trouble staying on the field, if it's him coming back and being healthy, or if they go out and get someone, there's a lot of holes in that bullpen. But the one thing I will continue to say, Reeser, if somehow the Reds do get into the playoffs, their starting staff with Hunter Green, Andrew Abbott, Nick Lodolo, Brady Singer, Chase Burns, it can hang with anyone. And Rhett Lauder as well, their first-round draft pick 2 years ago. He's got to, if he can come back and be healthy, he hasn't pitched at all this year yet. If he can come back and get into that mix as well, I like the Reds' chances in a series because of that starting pitching.
I have a question for you guys since we have a Guards fan and a Reds fan here. Maybe I'm dumb. It seems like these two teams have had the same season up to this point. Why does it seem like the Reds fans are just so positive and the Guardians fans, I saw this graphic that said, it was like a weather graphic, but it said Guardians 39-38, but feels like 30-47. Like, why is that the mindset of the Guardians fans today, that there's no hope for them when they're closer to a playoff spot than the Reds are?
I think for the Guardians, and I'll let Reese speak on that, but I think it's because they've been so good for the last 10 or 15 years or however long.
That's why I think they should be more optimistic than what they are right now.
But this is disappointing for them right now. For Reds fans, you've had nothing. You've had absolutely nothing, and you have the young star, budding superstar that Ellie De La Cruz is. You have some other young players. You have good young pitching, and you have a guy like Chase Burns. That's so exciting. So there's hope. There's optimism. You have some competent management now with Terry Francona in Cincinnati. So for Reds fans, that's the reason for optimism.
I think Ellie would be, I think, the biggest thing to that point. For the Guardians, I'm at apathy with this team. I've been calling for Chase DeLauder to come up from AAA Columbus for it feels like the past couple of weeks now, because you've got 2 or 3 Cleveland outfielders that are batting $160. And I think if you can at least inject a little bit of hope into that team, then maybe they would move from negative to positive. I mean, Cleveland fans in general skew more negative. To your point about being closer to a playoff spot, look, they're 9.5 back of the Tigers in the Central, and that AL Central is, if you win it, it's like being the fastest fat kid. Like, sure, you've won the race, but because everybody else is just fatter and slower. I mean, the Guardians are the last team in the league, or I think the only team in the league not to have called up one of their top prospects. And they haven't, for me, been able to put a full good week of baseball together this season, despite, as you were saying last year, being in the American League Championship Series. I'd like to see a full week of they don't have it together with their starting rotation. They don't have it together with their 1 through 9. It feels like every other day is a batting order put out by Stephen Vogt. You're like, this isn't serious. So if I could get some consistency, I think you'd find me more skewing positive. Right now, it's just apathy, a game above 500.
Here's one more point to that, and then one more thing on your question if the Reds are good. I think it hurts the Guardians, too, that you're in a division right now with the Detroit Tigers, and they're the best team in baseball where we sit today. So that's a steeper mountain to climb as far as getting, winning a division at least, which has been something the Guardians have done a lot here recently. Also, this is something with the Reds. You asked if they're good, and I kept going back to this stat, if you'll remember, Reese, when I kept saying I thought the Blue Jackets were going to make the playoffs because their goal differential was positive and the teams around them was not. Mm-hmm. The Reds have a plus 40 run differential this year, which is, there's some teams in baseball, obviously, that are better, but a plus 40 run differential right now puts you in the upper half of baseball teams. And at your point with the Guardians, they're minus 27.
Yeah, not great. I mean, 10-6 was the final last night. It just feels like for Cleveland, you've got to do something, whether it's the trade deadline at the end of July or whether you call up one of your top prospects to inject a little bit of optimism in it. But it's still a very long season, and I haven't ruled out the Guardians making an August run. Turns out you can't believe everything you read on the internet. That's next. It's Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
We used to have a billboard with our host's face on it, but only ugly people work here now.
You mama say you ugly, hey!
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
That's are us. When dreams sunk in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams sunk in, that's are us.
Matty Ice here from McDaniel GM Superstore in Marion. Are you looking for an affordable family car? Then the Chevy Traverse is for you. This month at McDaniel GM Superstore, you can get up to $3,000 off MSRP on a 2025 Traverse. Plus, qualified buyers can finance at 6.8% for 72 months. They are just a short drive north of Route 23 in Marion, or you can visit McDanielGMSuperstore.com. McDaniel GM Superstore, where great deals meet a century of trust. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
He shoots, he scores! It's a great time of year to be a fan, but the fun stops when you or a loved one can't control your gambling. Maryhaven is here to help with in-person, virtual, and group options. Learn more at maryhaven.com.
I can't wait to meet her. Oh my gosh.
Put your hands together for new Dr. Pepper Blackberry and Dr. Pepper Blackberry Zero Sugar.
There she is! Woohoo! Yeah! It's full Dr. Pepper!
With sweet blackberry flavor!
Dr. Pepper Blackberry, I'm obsessed with your succulent taste. Please marry me!
No! Marry me! Marry me, or I'm gonna freak out!
Try new Dr. Pepper Blackberry.
It's a pepper thing!
Common Man and Timmy talking to you about the ESPN Bet Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
Our guys at Hollywood are pulling out all the stops for summertime fun, live bands, food trucks, and more fun on select Saturdays.
Are they still doing the all-you-can-eat ribs?
Oh, yes, ribs. Tuesdays and Thursdays in June at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook.
Join Penn Play Rewards and play up to $500 on us Not Hollywood. Timmy and I are paying for it.
No, we're not. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Master Grillers Unite. The grilling season never ends at Billiards Plus. Come see their best-in-class grills for yourself and check out Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family-owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Join the Reds when they face the Padres June 27th through the 29th for Big Red Machine 50th Anniversary Reunion Weekend presented by PNC. Take part in special activations with Big Red Machine players all weekend long, including meet and greets at the Reds Hall of Fame and Museum. On Saturday, fans in attendance will receive a Big Red Machine 50th Anniversary cap thanks to FanDuel Sports Network while supplies last. Get your tickets now at reds.com/tickets.
If it feels like the hockey season just ended, that's because it did. But it's time for the draft, baby. Join Bob and Dylan live from Nationwide for the Jackets Draft Show.
Sponsored by Ohio Health.
Friday night at 6 on The Fan.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers.
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Another hot summer day ahead with our feels like in the triple digits and the air temperature in the mid to low 90s. We'll see partly sunny to mostly sunny skies with a chance of showers and thunderstorms developing the second half of the day, some which could be on the stronger side with heavy downpours and gusty winds. For tonight, partly cloudy with overnight lows in the mid 70s, and then for Thursday, a tad bit cooler with our feels like still in the upper 90s to right around 100 degrees. Chances of thunderstorms develop yet again for the second half of the day. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
Common man, a radio veteran, has a large hemorrhoid. Timmy Hall, a good, clean boy, moonlights as man's hemorrhoid. Common Man and Timmy.
Weekdays at 3.
The Fan. They'll offer betting advice, but don't bet on it being good. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Hey, no snitching. I see some of you out there commenting how we did baseball for the first segment 3 days in a row. All right? Bo's on vacation. He doesn't need to be bothered with that nonsense.
He can deal with that when he gets back.
No, we don't have to deal with it at all if everyone just keeps their mouth shut. For your substitute teachers for the week, Eric Reeser, Ryan Baker, Dylan's pushing the buttons. The AV cart rolls along through Friday. Bo will be back from Montana this coming Monday. And just don't say anything.
It's our guy Phil, too. Phil's trying to throw us under the bus.
I've seen a couple other people be like, why are you talking baseball in the first segment? Well, because we're fans of it. And we think some of you out there are baseball fans as well, but everybody just keep it to themselves.
It's also June and the Stanley Cup finals are over. The NBA finals are over. Like this is what it is. It's baseball season.
That is true.
Even if the main teacher was, if Bo was back, he would be doing no baseball.
I mean, I don't know. I think we could get him to talk about Chase Burns last
night.
For
like 10 minutes.
It was a historic first start to his career there with striking out the first 5 and, his all first 6 of his outs were strikeouts.
Just real quick, back to Burns. And this from our friend Mike Petraglia. There have only been 2 Reds pitchers since 1900 with 8 or more strikeouts, no walks in their Major League Baseball debut. Chase Burns last night and Johnny Cueto in 2008 against the Arizona Diamondbacks. So it's pretty good company for Burns to be joining in his first outing.
Johnny Cueto was pretty good. Won a World Series, unfortunately not with the Reds, but...
We had talked yesterday about there being a Twitter account leaking the best players and their ratings in EA Sports College Football 2026. I think that game is set to debut on July 7th. You might be able to pay like an extra $60 and get in on it early. Where we had Jeremiah Smith a 98, Caleb Downs a 96, Carnell Tate a 91, Max Clare also a 91. Then yesterday, EA Sports came in with a screen grab of the game, and it says Jeremiah Smith, in fact, a 99. I think Ryan Williams, the wide receiver for Alabama, is also a 99 in that game. And I do think when you are building a football player, I'd always pictured if, say, there was a creative player, like you're building Rob Gronkowski. But I think now where we are, you're building Jeremiah Smith. Like if you want perfect size, speed, athleticism, if you want catchability, if you want go-get ability, like if you throw the ball up there, like Jeremiah's down there somewhere, I have faith he will go and get it. It's 4 for Ohio State.
Yeah, and I think the interesting thing, you can build different, you can have that mold for different players, right? And maybe in the secondary side, that mold is Caleb Downs. Maybe you want a guy in your defensive backfield to be built just like Caleb Downs. But, I mean, we all knew Jeremiah Smith was good. He came in so highly touted and hyped, and at least through his freshman season, right, he lived up to all of that hype. And he's one of the reasons that you feel really good about this upcoming season with Ohio State football and a new quarterback, because they will always, no matter if it's Julian Sayin or Lincoln Kienholz, they'll always have that safety blanket that is number 4.
Yep. And no matter what happens with college athletics, you have the faith that Ohio State football is going to be well positioned because the job they've done recruiting over the past couple of years and the job that they continue to do. And I think the Buckeyes are expected some pretty decent commitments here in the next couple of days. We will talk to Adam Jardy here in a couple minutes about the basketball Buckeyes and how Team 126 and Jake Diebler think or figure to factor in to an ever-changing college athletics landscape. But back to Jeremiah, a 99 overall in that EA Sports video game. Will either of you buy or play that game when it comes out?
So I probably will not, because I'm not a video game. I couldn't even tell you the last time I played a video game, and I've never been a super video game person. Even when I was little, I played some, and I actually, Reese, in my house right now have an old Sega Genesis with like NFL 94 and NHL 93, those games that I played back when I was a youngster. I have them. It's just sitting there collecting dust. But I just couldn't tell you the last time I sat down and played a video game.
Does the Genesis have cartridges?
Yes.
Do you have Sonic?
I don't believe I have Sonic. I'd have to look, but I don't think so.
How do you have the Sega Genesis but not Sonic, man? Like
that's my question.
Yeah.
I don't know. You
gotta go find it on Amazon or something.
That's tough.
It sounds like it'd be expensive.
Right. I remember I had an N64 a couple of years ago, and I was looking at prices for GoldenEye, and that's like $90 to get a copy of GoldenEye. But I had Mario Kart, I had Super Smash Brothers, but I would pay probably not $100, but maybe like $20 or $30 to get a go at Sonic.
It's probably what I should do is go to eBay and just check the prices on an old Sega Genesis and some of those games, and maybe just sell them and get them out of the way.
But to answer your question, Reese, on if I would play this game, I game a decent amount, probably more than the average man our age. Me and Reese are pretty close to the same age. I don't know if this is a flex or I should be embarrassed about this. So when I got laid off from the job that I worked before I worked here, it was in August, right when the new college football game came out last summer, and I had a lot of free time on my hands the first couple of weeks. I got to the Heisman caliber, the top of the top, online. So yeah, I'll for sure be playing it and try to get back to that Heisman caliber in this year's game as well.
Who was your team?
It would depend, because the game would try to make you like match up based off of, how good each teams are. So it's like sometimes you would want to get a tier 1 win. Obviously Ohio State's like a tier 1 team. Or you could go down to like tier 5. I would run with Vanderbilt. It just depend what I was feeling.
The Fighting Diego Pavias.
No, I'd actually take him out and put in the backup quarterback because he had a 91 speed. And video game
running
world,
triple option.
Yes, in video game world, you want the speed at quarterback versus the actual good quarterback play.
I mean, this is way back in the day, but I played a lot with Pittsburgh. Like, they won a lot of national championships when I was playing that game back. It was, I think, the one with Larry Fitzgerald on the cover for the PlayStation 2. It was probably the last time I picked up controllers and played a college football game.
That was like the Jeremiah Smith of his day, right?
Yeah.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Probably even better for Jeremiah than what they rated Fitzgerald way, way back when. Just for some context, Colorado's Travis Hunter was a 98 and that was the highest ranked player or the highest rated player in college football 2025. So that's just, it goes to show you that everybody thinks pretty highly of Jeremiah Smith. But I'm interested to see, because what EA Sports I think does so well is they leak things over the days leading up to the actual release of the game. And so I think we'll get overall team ratings. Yesterday we also got like toughest places to play, where you had Ohio Stadium third. And I wonder, Baker, when they add the LED boards and the new sound system, if Ohio State leaps Beaver Stadium and Tiger Stadium for that top spot.
Can dream, right?
Do you think the South Stand premium boxes will make an appearance in DLC, or the wide-ass seats on top of the premium stadium boxes make that expansion?
I saw that list, and I'm okay with Ohio State not being number one, but I'm not okay with Beaver Stadium being over Ohio Stadium. I'm just not.
I think the whiteout gives it a little bit more pomp. I am confused, actually, now that I look at the 25. Virginia Tech's Lane Stadium is not on here.
It's a flawed list.
And I know a lot was made about Enter Sandman being available for this game for that time. And so I think you would want to at least, because it's flawed if they're not putting that in there.
Well, I mean, Ohio State goes into Beaver Stadium and, wins all the time. It's not like,
Yeah,
they have a super home field advantage when they play a top 5 opponent in that stadium, but that's just my opinion.
I don't know. Was Autzen Stadium, and we'll have to hear from Ohio State fans that made the trek out to Eugene, was Autzen Stadium that daunting of a place in terms of tough environment? Michigan Stadium stinks. And I'll just leave it at that. That thing's a damn hole in the ground. And like Ohio Stadium, they've got to have a serious talk, because you're looking at, again, in 5 years, Northwestern with the premier facilities in the Big Ten. A lot's going to change in college athletics over the next couple of weeks and months. Adam Jardy spoke with Ross Bjork. He covers the basketball Buckeyes for the Dispatch. He's going to join us in 2 minutes. It's Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
Well, these polymers aren't as flexible as batch K3.
Researcher Laurie is stretched thin.
Did you get the vulcanization analytics from V66? Wait, are these rubber scores from last week?
She needs to hire new lab technicians so she can bounce back into her old self.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our matching platform lets you spend less time searching and more time connecting with candidates. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
For a lot of us, saving up a down payment can be the biggest barrier to buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is lowering down payments to 1% for eligible home buyers with One Plus. Because everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to get a head start on your starter home.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Newman Roofing is proud to sponsor The Fan and 10 TV's Beat the Heat fan drive. Help Ohio's most vulnerable residents deal with the extreme heat this summer. Purchase new box fans and take them to the nearest Franklin County fire station or buy online. For more information, go to lifecarealliance.org.
Get ready to rock. Soft, that is. Nationwide Picnic with the Pops presents Yacht Rock Symphony, Saturday, June 28th, featuring all your favorite 70s and 80s super yacht rock hits on one stage with Ambrosia.
You're the biggest part of me.
Joined by John Ford Coley.
And I'd really love to see it tonight.
And Peter Beckett, the voice of Player. Don't miss this incredible night of hits, ending with a brilliant display of fireworks. June 28th at the Columbus Commons. For tickets, visit picnicwiththepops.com.
Earn $200 when you spend $2,000 in the first 90 days with a new Visa from Kemba Financial Credit Union. Plus, pay 0% APR on balances transferred in the first 90 days for 15 months. Visit Kemba.org. Restrictions apply. APR equals annual percentage rate. Offer ends June 30th, 2025. Equal opportunity lender.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you?
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
Here's what's up on a first Friday edition of the program. Adam Jardy, he covers the basketball Buckeyes for the Columbus Dispatch, and he joins us courtesy the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Good morning, Adam. Thanks for giving us the time today. I saw this from ESPN with the NCAA tournament expected to announce expansion in the coming weeks, which I think tells everybody who has a brain that it's going to happen before the 2025 season. They're going to say 76 teams in the big dance. Adam, is that too many?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, like, look at last year and pick any year that you want and look at the teams that are on the bubble and the teams that don't make it and argue to me that more of those teams deserve to be in. And if you can do that and you can convince me, then I'll change my mind. But until then, you look at the teams that don't make it, they don't make it for a reason. If anything, 68 is too big and it should go back to 64. I have a hard time imagining that this means that we're going to see more of the mid-majors that we all claim we want to see. This is just going to end up rewarding the power conferences with mediocre teams that play a bunch of, highly rated schedules. This is a real shame. I'm really disappointed and sad about this, but they didn't ask my opinion.
And I know it's in an era of college athletics that we continue down into more and more and more and more. And I don't think anybody stops to really realize the ramifications of just more and more and more. And you spoke with a man of always great confidence in Ross Bjork. How confident are you that Ohio State hoops can compete on the same level like a St. John's or a Villanova in terms of revenue sharing when those two programs don't have the Goliath that is college football?
It's going to be tough. I mean, I know that Ohio State is committed to men's basketball, and Ohio State wants to do what it can to get the program where it needs to be. But I'm not sure how many schools in America are going to commit as many resources as Ohio State will to football. I mean, we all understand how important football is, and rightfully so. I mean, it powers the wheels that make everything run in that athletic department. But I would imagine if we ever actually get to peel behind the curtain and look at, like, the numbers as far as which programs where are getting how much in revenue sharing. I mean, I would imagine next year that Ohio State, from just a straight revenue share compared to what players made in NIL this year, probably about a fourth of what last year's roster earned. And that's going to be a significant adjustment. I don't think that St. John's or Villanova is going to be working with the same budget. I would imagine that they would be paying their basketball teams more. They have a different financial reality than Ohio State does, and different priorities in some regards. So it's going to be a challenge for Ohio State, and I think there's a bit of, like, having to make do with maybe a little bit less, or having to be a little bit more shrewd with some of your roster moves, I think, because of the way things are currently structured. It's going to be a challenge.
Adam, late last week, we had a media availability for Jake Diebler. Then the other day, we had a media availability for Bruce Thornton, John Mobley Jr., and Devin Royal. And it was pretty interesting listening to all that, how consistent the messaging was from Coach Diebler all the way down through the players. They all talked about the transfer portal this year, and they talked about experience and guys with high basketball IQ and the guys they brought in, kind of a different approach from last season. How much did Jake Diebler learn on roster construction from his first year as a head coach here at Ohio State?
Yeah, I mean, it would seem like a fair amount. And it's funny because, like, last year we all thought that they had really done a pretty decent job in the portal. I mean, bringing in, a high upside young talent that you expected could grow, guys who were really highly rated out of high school, and you start projecting all these things, what that could look like. And it didn't click. It didn't materialize for most of those guys for a wide variety of reasons. And so certainly this year you're bringing in guys with much more of a proven track record. Guys with a lot more experience, and that stuff all matters at a high level right now in college basketball. It's just I do think back a lot to the circumstances under which last year's roster was created. And you think about, like, Jake Diebler getting the job. They're playing in the NIT. He has one assistant coach on the roster at that point, and he's trying to, like, piece it all together, hire a coaching staff, and hit the portal and retain his players. Like, I'm a little more lenient on some of that stuff from last year, just given all the things that were on a first-year coach's plate right off the bat. But it does certainly seem like there's been a bit of a course correction this year, and they've certainly prioritized, bringing in some of those guys who have played high, if not high level, they've played high volume minutes for several years in college basketball.
Adam Jardy is our guest. Read his stuff on the Basketball Buckeyes at the Columbus Dispatch. Adam, Team 126, I should say, is going to look pretty different compared to Team 125, but you still kind of have your core three players. I know when, Devin Royal and Junie Mobley and Bruce Thornton spoke yesterday, a lot of it was on loyalty, on trying to create a legacy here at Ohio State. For Royal, I'm most interested about entering the 2025 season in his move to the three. Said he's a little slimmer. How do you expect that to go? And with the new faces that they've brought in, how long do you give them to click as a starting five?
Yeah, I mean, I think Devin's ability to play the three is probably the biggest, I don't know if I want to say question mark, but like the biggest domino maybe with this roster, where if that really hits and if he can really excel in that role, then like I think it moves his team into a different category. Because he's a proven talented, gifted scorer and a high level rebounder. And if you can play him at the three instead of at the four, so now you're bigger at the three, you're bigger at the four, and you're bigger at the five. And maybe this team actually improves on some of the rebounding numbers that we saw last year, and that helps with the defensive numbers. Like there's a lot of things that kind of ripple from if Devin can hold down the three effectively. And they're really confident in his ability to do that. I know that's been like the top emphasis for him in this offseason is, getting better on the perimeter and being able to guard on the perimeter. Like that stuff's going to be really important for him. As far as like the, getting things to click and getting the roster all on the same page, like big part of that is going to be the fact that like those dudes are healthy. And that's another kind of under talked about thing from last year is just that like, so many guys were out for long periods of time during the summer that like, I mean, Jake Diebler made the joke when we spoke to him last week that they'd already played more 5-on-5 this summer than they did all of last summer. So that I think is also a big factor as to why this team should theoretically hit the ground running a lot in a better position this fall, because they'll have had the actual opportunity to play with each other during this summer, unlike last year's team.
Adam, one of those guys that's been injured, and I feel like a lot of people have kind of forgotten about him, is Tayson Chapman. And it sounds like he's recovering well. He's no trepidation with him on the court here in summer workouts. I kind of feel like he's an X factor for this Ohio State team. Do you kind of feel that way with Tayson? And does it seem like he is fully healthy and ready to go?
Yeah, that's a great observation, because he definitely is. I think he fits every quality you would look for in an X factor, because we really haven't seen a whole lot of him in the last 2 years, but he was incredibly highly rated coming out of high school. I mean, I'd have to go back and relook at it, but I think he's the top. His recruiting ranking, I think, was higher than anybody else on the roster right now relative to his class. He's a talented basketball player, and we just haven't been able to see it because of injuries these last 2 years. But I just saw they posted like a highlight clips of him to the Ohio State's social media channels from playing against the former players last week. And like, he looks quick. He looks athletic. He's shooting the ball. I know I could look good on a highlight film. But it's just good to see him on the court doing things and looking like the talented basketball player that he is. Actually, I spoke with his dad briefly the other day, and he said like the biggest thing is like, he just seems like himself again. He's kind of like, that's a dark place to be in for so long, where you're constantly out and you're constantly behind not behind in your rehab, but you're rehabbing. You're not on the court. You're not doing the things you want to do. Like that can be a really difficult place, especially for a young person. And he said like, he's back to being himself. And I think if that can all continue and he can continue to grow on the court, every team in America will take a 6'4" guard who can knock down shots and get to the rim.
Adam, where are the Buckeyes with German guard Matthew Gricic?
So he's on campus. He's with the team. He can't do like full on anything like official team workout wise. He can't do because there's still stipulations with visas and like the whole process of getting an international player eligible and able to play in the United States. Like there's just a lot of legalities that go into that. So he's not through all that, but he is with the team. He's on campus, and in spite of the fact that he can't practice fully with them, he still wanted to be with the team and start to get to know his teammates. And he can still do open gyms and like that kind of stuff. So they're still like they're kind of getting to know each other now, and he's around the team already. So he's another X factor. I mean, he's a really talented player from every person that I talk to, and has produced wherever he's played, and has played up and has played in for some really prestigious clubs in Europe. But what does that look like in college basketball as an 18-year-old? I don't know, but it could be. He might be a guy that we're sitting here in like January and saying, man, we should have been talking more about him.
Yeah, Adam, all that visa scuttlebutt seems kind of silly to me. Does Jake Diebler have an idea of maybe a timeline where that can get resolved?
I mean, like sometime during the summer.
Okay.
And honestly, this stuff it's pretty common. Like when I covered the Crew, this was always the deal. You know, they'd sign an international player, and you had there was contingent on receipt of their P1 visa. Like this is just kind of how these things work, and it depends on the country. It depends on the global political situation at the time. Like this stuff can always. You never quite know how long it will take, but there's no expectation that like anything won't get done. It's just kind of a matter of time.
That's good to hear. And Adam, we're always smarter when we talk with you. We appreciate the time today, bud. Stay cold, stay cool, stay hydrated. Enjoy the rest of the summer. We'll catch up before things really get going for Team 126. All right, bud?
All right. Appreciate you guys having me. Thank you.
Read his stuff at the Columbus Dispatch. He is Adam Jardy. He joins us courtesy of the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. The time is now for the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's next. It's Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And well, we smell a little, but you've accepted that. The Fan.
Hey guys, don't waste time and money with low-quality online TRT that charges you over $100 just to start. Visit the TRT experts today at Low T Center for a free consultation and free test. The treatment is personalized to your body, and most major insurance is accepted. And you'll get the freedom to choose if you want in-center care or at-home treatment. Looking to lose weight? Get a free B12 shot when you start prescription treatment. The offer is limited, so book now at fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com.
I need a small order of sheet metal to repair something in the shop. It's not much, but can you help me out?
At Metal Supermarkets, no order is too small.
Wait, really?
Yep.
What about small home projects?
Yep.
For a car I'm working on?
Yep.
Any kind of metal?
Yep.
Cut to size?
Yep.
With no minimum order?
Yep.
How about 1,000 cut pieces of aluminum flat bar?
Yep. Choose from over 8,000 types, shapes, and grades of metal in any quantity you need. And yes, we're serious. Any metal, any size, ready fast. Locally owned on Wilson Road.
Hey, it's Anthony for my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. Summer savings, Rich is backing it up. He has rates as low as 0% and leases starting from $249 a month. How about a 25 Honda HR-V LX CVT two-wheel drive? Lease it for only $259 a month. 36 months, 30,000 miles with only $30.39 down. And all trades deserve a sweetener. He's giving you an extra $1,000 for yours. See them for all the details. Germain Honda of Dublin, Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
Double your savings with Logan Services. Save up to $3,200 on a qualifying air conditioning and heating system. And ask about tax credits up to $3,200. Call for your free estimate now. Logan Services.
Master Grillers Unite. The grilling season never ends at Billiards Plus. Come see their best-in-class grills for yourself and check out Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family-owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
When you join the plus side with AAA, that's all you'll have to do. Or you could learn to change your own tire.
Hey fam, what's up? Today I'm gonna teach you to change a flat. Before we start, make sure it's not raining, or hailing, or lightning.
Skip the hard work. On the plus side, get more with AAA. Go to AAA.com/plus side.
Open a money market account at Kemba Financial Credit Union and enjoy a 4.00% APY intro rate until April 2026, 6 times the national average. Maintain easy access to your funds and secure financial stability. Don't miss out. Offer expires July 31st, 2025. Visit Kemba.org. Restrictions apply. Advantage status and $5,000 minimum and $1 million maximum deposit required. APY equals annual percentage yield. Comparison based on FDIC average. Federally insured by NCUA.
How many different ways can you consume morning juice? Let's see. Live on YouTube, live on the Fans HD3 podcast on demand, and on 10 TV Plus. And we'll send by you right to your house.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 8.
The Fan.
Evan Cohen here. Whether you're locking in your home run picks or riding with your favorite golfers this summer, ESPN Bet is your sportsbook for all the action. Go from checking stats on your favorite teams and players to placing bets in just a few taps. Plus, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Small's here. It's time to turn things up a notch. This summer, don't binge watch shows. Binge s'mores by the campfire. Press pause on the podcast and press play on the warm weather vibes. Here's your chance to win $10,000 for your ultimate summer. What are you waiting for? Take your shot with 5-Hour Energy and make this summer your best summer ever. Visit 5heshot.com for full details and rules and enter today. No purchase necessary. Ends June 30th, 2025.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Carpenter Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electric, and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep your home comfortable. The Fan.
Sports conversation that's worthy of a toast, or at least a stiff drink. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Our thanks to Adam Jardy of the Columbus Dispatch for joining us in the last segment. Some summer updates for Team 126, and what I think's a lot of opportunity for Jake Diebler and company. I did forget to ask him, Adam Jardy, about the gray court coming to Value City Arena this fall. I'm a fan. I like the switching out that you can do in the center court. I think, look, the shot stinks. I think whatever you can do to make it a better atmosphere, you should do it. It is, of the things for Ross Bjork and Ohio State, to throw it at the wall and see what sticks, there is no bad idea for the Schottenstein Center.
Yeah, I think the court looks pretty cool, too. I think I told you the one thing I was disappointed in, like my memories of Ohio State basketball courts, like the first one I ever remember in St. John Arena had the red State of Ohio with the block O in the middle. And then recently we've had the different color wood grain there that made the State of Ohio around the Ohio State emblem there at half court. And I told you when the state basketball tournament was there, I always thought it was cool that they would put stars on the State of Ohio from where each high school was. I thought that was a cool thing. So I do wish they could have incorporated the State of Ohio on the center of that court somehow, but I think it looks really cool. It kind of reminds me of what they've got going on over at the Covelli Center with the volleyball courts now. And I think it looks, like you said, whatever you can do.
Do it.
Like a lot of kids
try it.
A lot of kids liked going to Oregon back in the day because they had the different jerseys and uniforms. Whatever you can do to help fans that they like it or get kids to come to the school, all of it matters.
If I could sit down with Ross Bjork for a couple of minutes, I'd go and massage gently his shoulders. I'd say, just go back to St. John Arena. Or just quietly and as smoothly as possible. Just go back to St. John Arena.
I think that ship has sailed.
Yeah, probably.
I think you'd get a new basketball arena before you got going back to St. John.
I will set the dynamite.
What's up with the plans for St. John's? Because it's still there. Weren't they supposed to knock it down and do something else with it?
TBD. As is everything with college athletics, it feels like.
I think that was the plan at one time. I know it's like a workout facility right now for a lot of the schools. Like when they have gymnasium equipment down on the floor now most of the time. Like the rowing teams will be in there. You know, a lot of the teams work out in there. But yeah, I think there were plans at one time to take it down.
Well, it's what the Boston Celtics are doing. They're taking everything down almost to the Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum studs.
Did you get to hit the Acme Dynamite there for that one?
I didn't, but their front office is about to, or is currently in the process of it all. The NBA draft is tonight. The Dallas Mavericks have the first overall pick, but boy, the most active team in the past 48 hours has been Boston. Yesterday, there was a 3-team deal that included the Hawks and the Nets. Kristaps Porzingis, the center for the Celtics, and a second-round pick are going to Atlanta. Terrence Mann and Atlanta's number 22 pick go to the Nets. And George Niang and a second-rounder are going to the Boston Celtics. On Monday, they sent Drew Holiday to the Trailblazers for Anthony Simmons and 2 second-round picks. Really what this does, it saves Boston $180 million in luxury taxes. So they were going to have a projected payroll of $500 million that was going to be added on with payroll tax because of these aprons. And I think with what Boston's doing, because they're about to have a new ownership group that's about to be approved here in the coming weeks, I think they're looking at Jason Tatum out for most of next season, and they're saying we're going to just save money. We're going to next year rebuild everything around Tatum and Brown. Now, their projected salary was going to be $540 million as of June 15th. Right now, it's $280 million. So that's a team that I don't think is going to compete at all this upcoming season. And even Shams Charania pointing out that teams are really aggressive right now, seeing what Boston's doing and trying to acquire Jaylen Brown. I don't necessarily think that's going to be anything that happens, but if it does, wouldn't you think something on the Jaylen Brown front would happen in the next 12 hours before the first round of the draft gets going?
You would sure think so. And you know what? If somebody offers the right deal, it seems like the Celtics are punting on this next season. And I've got to believe Jaylen Brown probably isn't too happy about that. I'm sure he's, in a way, excited selfishly to show that he can lead a team and be the guy on a team. Now, if he can or not, who knows? But I'm sure he's excited for that opportunity. But I'm sure he doesn't love what's going on right now in Boston.
I actually applaud what the Celtics are doing right now, because you see a lot of times teams win a championship and then organizations just want to keep running it back, and they kind of don't give up on a team when they should. I feel like that about Denver, too. It's like they just want to keep running it back, and they're kind of spinning their wheels. Same thing with Milwaukee. But they saved all this money. I think the Jaylen Tatum injury, Jason Tatum, and I almost combined Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown into one person.
If they were one person, that would probably save the Celtics some more money.
But, I mean, it sucks, but it's going to happen. And I think that they're kind of just making it so that they could rebuild for 2026. Like, Luka's a free agent. Paul is a free agent. Jaren Jackson is a free agent. Jalen Williams is a free agent. I think they're kind of saving money so they can retool for 2026. And I don't think they're going to be bad because the East is bad. Yeah. I think with Jaylen Brown and Derek White, they could actually probably get to they could still win that division. They can get a 3, 4, 5 seed, and then you see what happens in the playoffs.
Yeah, with what Boston's doing, with what's going to happen with Indiana and Tyrese Halliburton, with what's going to happen in New York, as a Cavaliers fan, this feels the time. If you have any inclining to trade Darius Garland, to try to improve on that 2 spot next to Donovan Mitchell, you do it, because this is the best window for the Cavaliers I think that they've had since LeBron.
The Knicks obviously getting better. The Magic getting better. The Pacers without Halliburton, though, that you have to think they take a step back. The Pistons are a team that took a huge jump forward. But, yeah, it seems like it's the Cavs' time this coming year. And, Dylan, to your point, Reese and I were just talking about this in the break. I went over to ESPN Bet and was looking up the odds. To win the Eastern Conference next year, the Celtics still have the 4th best odds. Even with these trades, they're 6-1. To win the championship, they're 18-1. So at least at the sports book so far, the Celtics haven't taken the hit. And like you mentioned, this Eastern Conference isn't great, which is more to your point, Reese. Man, the Cavs have to strike while the iron is hot here.
I just saw this. Maine's Governor Janet Mills has declared June 25th Cooper Flag Day, as the favorite son of the state of Maine is going first overall. Like, that feels like the draft will start at 2 when the Spurs have the pick. Then you got the 76ers with the 3rd overall pick. But you get Cooper Flag. It's reported that Kyrie Irving's going to sign a 3-year extension with Dallas. Things could turn around for the Mavericks pretty quickly, where you thought a couple months ago this was a team, and I even thought that they were on their way to Las Vegas. But if they can land, and they still might as a franchise, they still very well might. But in terms of contending in the West, if Cooper Flag can give them production early and often, if they can get a healthy Anthony Davis, I know you're laughing out there, but if Klay Thompson plays well, if Kyrie, there's no reason that they can't be competitive, very much so, in the Western Conference. Looks like I'm not the only one mad about the Deshaun Watson debacle. That's next. It's Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
During this 10-second promo, Rothman will lose money gambling on something.
People like you come here and blow the family nest egg that built this town.
Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan.
Newman Roofing is proud to sponsor the Fan and 10 TV's Beat the Heat fan drive. Help Ohio's most vulnerable residents deal with the extreme heat this summer. Purchase new box fans and take them to the nearest Franklin County Fire Station or buy online. For more information, go to lifecarealliance.org.
The biggest thriller this summer is blockbuster savings at Coughlin Chevrolet. Lease a new 2025 Chevy Trax for $159 a month. A new 2026 Chevy Equinox, only $259 a month. Or a new 2025 Silverado, lease for $359 a month. This month only at Coughlin Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
36-month lease with $39.99 due at signing, plus tax, title, and license. 10,000 miles per year, 25 cents per mile over. See dealer for details. N63025.
Common Man here. I want to talk to you about my buddy Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers. It's rare that a business comes along and offers you such great quality, service, price. If you or someone you love or like, or even strangers on the street tell you they need a jeweler, tell them you got a guy, and that guy is Bob Capace at Worthington Jewelers.
I'm Bob Capace, and I'm your guy.
Worthington Jewelers on High Street in Worthington, worthingtonjewelers.com, where Columbus gets engaged.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Serving in the military requires great sacrifices, not just for one's country, but also for one's family. Not surprisingly, divorce for soldiers is especially difficult, and it raises a number of challenges that are peculiar to military divorce, things such as deployments, relocation, retirement benefits. These issues can be complicated. So if you're a soldier facing such challenges, go to CordellCordell.com.
10 West Broad, Columbus. CordellCordell.com.
Bob Yoakum, president of Rockford Homes, talks about what makes First Bank of Central Ohio different.
I would say it starts by caring. It starts by doing what you say you're going to do and following through on it. When you're talking about local, you're talking about relationships and people that matter to you. I don't care if that's personally or professionally.
Experience what it's like to be first at First Bank of Central Ohio. Visit fbcentralohio.com for more details. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Scotty Vegas here. We all know that summer's the easiest season for weight loss. Warm weather, lighter meals, being outside. Our bodies are primed to succeed, and Awaken 180 has your game plan. Reach your goals this summer with Awaken 180, the official weight loss program of summer.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
It's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Wilson, I got the nicest Google review today. Dewey from Gehanna said, "We cannot believe we are able to get the Pella look and quality at the cost we did."
I got a review too. Listen to this. These windows were great. Oh boy, for about a year. Looks like I'll need to renew, in quotes for some reason, my windows way too soon. Repeat customer?
Get the window that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Summer's heating up, and so are the deals at Germain Toyota of Columbus. Whether you're cruising to the lake or hauling your weekend gear, Germain, well, they've got the truck to help you get it done. Right now, get 2.99 APR for up to 72 months on the rugged 2024 Tacoma, or step up to the powerful 2025 Tundra, also 2.99 for 72 months. These summer savings, they won't last forever. So visit Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road or online at germaintoyota.net.
Every great team has its core players, but when the season gets tough, adding the right free agent can make all the difference. The same goes for business. At Robert Half, we found that 67% of companies surveyed plan to increase their use of contract talent to handle workload peaks and backlogged projects. With Robert Half's specialized recruiters' experience, combined with our award-winning AI, you can quickly find the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Discover how we can help at roberthalf.com/talent.
For more than 75 years, University of Maryland Global Campus has given you the opportunity to build your next success. Choose from more than 135 degree and certificate programs in career-relevant fields like business, healthcare, data analytics, cybersecurity, and more. Plus, we offer 100% online and hybrid courses, personalized advising, and lifetime career services. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Well, good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The Cincinnati Reds called up Chase Burns, and the rookie righty was hot last night against the Yankees, striking out the first 5 batters he faced, including Aaron Judge. Only 2 pitchers since 1960 have struck out their first 5 in a Major League Baseball debut. Burns fanned 8 in 5 innings of work. Yankees DH Ben Rice took him deep in the 4th, but Christian Encarnacion Strand's 3-run double tied things in the 7th. Gavin Lux walked it off in the 11th to give Cincinnati a 5-4 win over New York. Redlegs go for the series sweep tonight at 7:10. You can hear that game on the Fan following the Buckeye Show. As for the Guardians, Cleveland fell to Toronto 10-6 last night at Progressive Field. Both teams are back at it tonight at 6:40. And in basketball, the NBA draft starts tonight in Brooklyn. The Dallas Mavericks have the first overall pick. They're expected to use it on Duke forward Cooper Flagg. Spurs pick at 2, Sixers pick at 3. Cavs do not have a first-round pick this year. Breaking sports news when it happens on the Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Drink recommendations, movie reviews, sports discussion, whatever the hell Reeser does. This is Bishop and Friends.
Before we get to Collusion, we will remind you, because it's the first Friday, to get your Hey Guys questions in, either at 971BFS or on the YouTube chat before 11 o'clock. We got that $50 gift card, the distillery tour, and the tasting for up to 10 people to our friends at High Bank Distillery to give to you, whomever has our favorite question. So you can send those in on Twitter. We can see them on the YouTube chat. If we can read it on the air, we'll do so, and then we'll answer it, again, by 11 o'clock for that. This was Monday, I think, when things started to trickle out with a 61-page ruling by an independent arbitrator in a grievance filed by the NFL Players Association. The NFLPA alleged that NFL owners colluded to avoid giving veterans guaranteed contracts, something similar to something exactly like the Browns gave to Deshaun Watson. In fact, this grievance was filed because the belief was NFL owners saw what the Browns did with Watson and told themselves, we're never doing that again. $230 million guaranteed will never happen to another NFL player. Now, there were similar contracts trying to be sought after by players like Lamar Jackson, by Kyler Murray, wanted not fully guaranteed, but more guarantees than the Cardinals gave him, when I'm not sure they gave him anything guaranteed. And discussions about both of those players, those contracts, came out from this 61-page ruling. Pablo Torre and Mike Florio were in a race to see who could get it first. I think Pablo won that race, but Mike Florio has the headline from Pro Football Talk. Arbitrator found NFL encouraged teams to collude regarding guaranteed contracts. What the arbitrator decided, or what his ruling was that there was encouragement, but it didn't, in his opinion, amount to collusion. And it was, after you get through all, however many pages you get through, the NFL owners got together and said, we're never doing this again. Now, whether they did it via email, whether they did it at a meeting, whether they did it over drinks, whether they did it over a steak, it doesn't really matter. I'm wondering if any of this actually matters to fans out there. Similar to the House versus NCAA ruling. Are you, as an NFL fan, looking at that and saying, oh, the owners are trying to not give fully guaranteed contracts to their players? I'm mad. I don't sense that.
I can tell you, to me, it's nothing. Like, who cares? Like, as long as they're not doing anything that violates the CBA, the agreed upon terms between the NFL and the NFL Players Association, who cares? Like, if they don't want to give guaranteed contracts, they're the owners, right? It does not matter. I just don't understand, like, why this is a big deal. And we are seeing, like, some of these rookie deals now get fully guaranteed and whatnot. And obviously the Deshaun Watson deal. And guess what? The Browns went on their own, whether there was collusion or not, and did it. And all of the owners, it seems like, hate the Browns right now for it. They're very upset with the NFL.
In agreement with 31 owners being mad at Jimmy Haslam for signing that check. Now, if you are to believe a lot of the reporting that's been done about Watson, it was Stefanski and Barry that went to Jimmy Haslam and said, we need to get this done. And the only way to get Deshaun to sign on the dotted line was to fully guarantee the contract. You had the Saints and you had the Falcons. There were the two other reported teams that had as much money on the table, just in different forms and fashions. And so for the Browns, they needed to look at Deshaun and say, it's all guaranteed for you, despite what 40-plus women are starting to come out and allege. This money is for you. We'll have, $180 million of it in escrow, ready to go. And then the owners after that. So this was March 18th. The Browns gave Watson the deal. And then a couple of days later, when they had their owners' meetings in the NFL, they got together and said, this isn't going to happen again. And so you have a ruling on January 14th of 2025. So this was back in 2022, obviously, when the Browns gave Deshaun Watson the contract. And then you had in 2022 the owners coming together and saying, not again. Not again is something like this going to happen. The arbitrator, Christopher Drowney, in his January 14th of 2025 ruling on this grievance that's been several years in the making, saying, quote, there is little question that the NFL Management Council, with the blessing of the commissioner, encouraged the 32 NFL clubs to reduce guarantees in veterans' contracts at the March 2022 annual owners meeting, end quote. Which feels to me like he's saying what's being alleged by the Players Association. But it's still a business run by the owners. And I think, well, yes, this doesn't look great that the owners are doing this. What can actually be done other than a player coming out and saying, well, now I'm going to take legal action, which is actually this morning what Mike Florio and Pro Football Talk are coming out and saying, that multiple individuals who routinely interact with players tell Pro Football Talk multiple players have begun to inquire regarding their rights and regarding their options, both as to the league and as to the union, that they might take legal action against both parties in this case. They reference Justin Herbert because it was in this 61-page document revealed that back in 2022, after Kyler Murray's non-fully guaranteed contract were revealed, Chargers owner Dean Spanos texted Cardinals owner Michael Bidwell, quote, congratulations on signing Murray, to which Bidwell replied, thanks, Dino. These quarterback deals are expensive, but we limited the fully guaranteed money and have some pretty good language. Thankfully, we have a quarterback that's worth paying. Spanos, quote, your deal helps us for our QB next year. Bidwell, quote, I think many teams will be happy with it once they have a chance to review. Cleveland really screwed things up, but it was resolved to keep the guaranteed money relatively low, end quote. And the PA says that's collusion, which I don't know if it is.
I don't even...
Coordination is coordination collusion.
Yeah, and I don't understand this. I don't get it, to me at least. And do the Cardinals really have a quarterback worth paying?
They think so.
I mean, just wondering, because I know at least Cardinals fans and Cardinal sports radio, when I was out there a few years ago, they all kind of seemed done with Kyler Murray, and they were ready to move on to the next option. I kind of argue the same with Justin Herbert a little bit as far as if you want to win championships with a quarterback on your team. I know Justin Herbert puts up stats like just about any of the best quarterbacks in the league, but I don't think you're winning any championships with Justin Herbert. That's for sure.
Big Justin Herbert hater.
I am. I dislike Justin Herbert a lot. Never won anything.
I'm a big Justin Herbert guy, but I'm also normally on the player side when it comes to this type of stuff, and I think they see it as, so in the four major sports, the NFL makes the most money, the only one that doesn't have all fully guaranteed contracts. And I think the players see this as, okay, the quarterbacks, they're going to be the first position group to get fully guaranteed money. And then it'll be a trickle down after that. I think the NFL owners are trying to kick that can down the road, and the players don't like that. I mean, don't you guys think it was weird when Lamar Jackson was having his issues with contract talks with the Ravens, that it seemed like no other team wanted him, even though he was an MVP? Like, this is stuff we already knew. Now it's just coming to the light where these owners are getting together to help each other out. And going back to the Deshaun Watson thing, if it would have worked out with Deshaun Watson, the fully guaranteed contracts in the NFL as a whole would be a lot closer to happening. But because we saw Deshaun Watson get a 100% guaranteed deal and it go as bad as it probably can, it looks like the owners are right about it. But if in an alternate universe, if Deshaun Watson has won a Super Bowl with the Browns, getting a fully guaranteed contract, I think we see the fruition of NFL players getting a fully guaranteed deal a lot closer to reality than it is right now.
Maybe so. And here's the thing with collusion, and it's just like the situation with the Browns. When a team is desperate enough, they will do it. And if Lamar Jackson ever would have became available, every team in the league for the most part, would have went out after him. There was very few teams in the league that wouldn't have gone after him if that was the case. And I think the Lamar situation is different too, because Lamar's a guy that's trying to represent himself. Maybe that's all different if Lamar has an agent that can do that stuff. I don't know. And you're right, Dylan. The NHL or the NFL is the only one that doesn't have fully guaranteed contracts, and it's probably the one that's most dangerous to these players. But we know that the NFL owners have always been the strongest, right? They will lock you out. They've shown in the past they will have a lockout, and they will have replacement players come in and play, and they will stay together to get the deal they want. Here's my thing with all of this. If you don't like this as a football player, nobody's making you play football.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody's making us come in. If we don't like the terms of our deal here, nobody's making us come in and talk sports every day, right? Just like an NFL player. And the NFL players, regardless of all this, they're pretty... The guys that have played a lot, the guys that don't play, right? Like the average NFL career is what, 3 to 5 years?
3.5.
So some of those guys on the fringe, they don't get the benefits of the guys that are more established players. But a lot of these guys, if they're smart, are set for life with the money they're making in the NFL. I don't know if that makes it all right or wrong or whatever, but again, nobody's making you play.
I think for that 61-page article I talked about coming out, my favorite thing from this was when Lamar was, trying to negotiate himself with the Ravens. General manager Eric DeCosta said that Mr. Jackson's phone, the microphone on it, was not working, which made it tough to negotiate with him. Before the 2022 season, Jackson texted DeCosta, "I'm going to continue to request a fully guaranteed contract. I understand you all don't, and that's fine," end quote. And obviously, the Ravens and Lamar got things together. They were able to kumbaya the situation, and I don't think we're too far from another situation where Lamar is going to be asking for another deal from Baltimore. But yeah, a lot of scuttlebutt from this. I think you're going to see more because I do think there are going to be some of the more elite players that, if not file grievances, maybe have grievances filed on their behalf. But just interesting how the sausage is made of something that the NFL doesn't really want you to see, but. I've always said, and I will continue to say, that when you talk about owners in any of the sports, there's never such thing as good faith negotiating. Is 2025 the final year for this player? He says yes. We'll discuss next. It's Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
We know everything about you. We know you love the Buckeyes. We know you love the Jackets. We know you're wearing a red shirt. Just freak the hell out of someone. The Fan.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Save big on 18-ounce containers of blueberries or 12-ounce containers of raspberries. Right now, they're only $3.77 each with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
The Roofing Guys are your locally owned, trusted family business right here in Central Ohio. They've been hammering quality and service through the roof for over 25 years, offering professional services in roofing, siding, gutters, and more. Contact them at theroofingguys.com. That's theroofingguys.com.
Let's be honest, we could all use a little vacation from the ordinary. But with Tim Hortons' new refreshers, you don't need to pack your bags. Just sip, relax, and enjoy your refreshing 16-ounce vacation. With tropical mango packed with real pineapple and mango pieces, and strawberry watermelon kiwi featuring real pieces of strawberry and kiwi. Also, try it with lemonade or coconut milk. A choose-your-own taste bud adventure. Head to Tim's for the new refreshers. Your 16-ounce vacation awaits, only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants.
Common Man here. Let me tell you something. I'm on these Germain inter-office emails. At Germain Lexus, during the month of June, they've challenged themselves to sell more cars than they ever have in 1 month. What does that mean? Well, I'm stupid, but to me, that means they're willing to deal, baby. And the memorial cars are on the lot. The ones the golfers drive for the tournament are now available to you. I have been a Germain customer for years, even before I started doing the commercials. If you're in the market, please stop in. Germain Lexus, 2 locations to serve you, Dublin and Easton, GermainLexus.com.
Sometimes I hear a sparkling sound.
Like when we say, all you have to do is point?
There it is.
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
This is This Date in Reds Baseball with team historian Greg Rhodes.
A Reds Hall of Famer made his debut on this date in 1930. One Bill Werber, who was a star on the Reds championship teams of 1939 and 1940. But Werber was not with the Reds when he broke in. He debuted with the Yankees. And as a young whippersnapper out of college, he was determined to impress his new team. Werber was on first base when his teammate Babe Ruth hit a long drive. Werber ran hard the whole way, dashing across the plate, only to realize Ruth had hit a home run. Ruth told him in the dugout later, "Son, you don't have to run so fast when the Babe hits one." Well, Billy Werber, Reds Hall of Famer, his debut game this June 25th, 1930, this date in Reds baseball.
This Date in Reds Baseball is brought to you by the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame and Museum, presented by Dinsmore. Celebrating greatness, preserving history, providing inspiration.
T-Bone and Tyvis.
You comparing apples to
No, I'm
oranges.
not. I'm
Yes,
literally
you are.
comparing sandwiches to sandwiches.
You can't make a PB&J without the bread.
Yes, and to me, I need a hot dog. I want it on a bun.
T-Bone and Tyvis Mornings on the Fan is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Did you know 38% of Ohio's teenagers have spent money on gambling in video and online games? Items like mystery boxes, skins, and spin to win mimic gambling, putting children at a higher risk of experiencing a gambling disorder as an adult. So get in the know about youth gambling and start the conversation with discussion guides, parent resources, and more at changethegameohio.org. That's changethegameohio.org.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Get a recap of all the day's news from across the state.
ONN affiliate WBNS TV reports.
Haley Kirby, reporting in downtown Toledo.
From the State House, Kevin Landers.
ONN Canton.
ONN affiliate WKYC TV in Cleveland explains.
In Marietta, Brett Wharf, ONN News.
Emma Henderson in Genoa.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Listen at ONNradio.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts from the Ohio News Network. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Another hot summer day ahead with our feels like in the triple digits in the air temperature in the mid to low 90s. We'll see partly sunny to mostly sunny skies with a chance of showers and thunderstorms developing the second half of the day, some which could be on the stronger side with heavy downpours and gusty winds. For tonight, partly cloudy with overnight lows in the mid 70s. And then for Thursday, a tad bit cooler with our feels like still in the upper 90s to right around 100 degrees. Chances of thunderstorms develop yet again for the second half of the day. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
1, 2, 3. Here at The Fan is always football o'clock. Proud to be your home of the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. The Fan. The friends are the guests and listeners. Reeser and Baker just work here.
Back to work. Back to work. Everybody, work, 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 work.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
And Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler, for over 78 years. In about 10 minutes, we'll have Jake Trotter on, the senior college football reporter for ESPN. Get an update on the Rocky River Greek Festival and see where Jake's been over the past couple of days as his Oklahoma City Thunder champions for the first time in that franchise's iteration. Just going back to last segment real quick with the 61-page collusion grievance ruling by an independent arbitrator. I do think that while most NFL fans don't care about this, while there are only a handful of NFL players this really affects in terms of the totality of the league, I think that the journalism done by Pablo Torre and by Mike Florio is important. I think whenever a league like the NFL wants you to not know things, it's extra important then for journalists to go out and try to find those things that they do not want you to know. Much of this in that 61-page ruling isn't damning. It is a little incompetent from a league standpoint and from a lot of people who like to think of themselves as the smartest people in the room. But stuff like that I do think is important to support. So I do want to give the proper credit to Pablo Torre and to Mike Florio on like pushing enough buttons to get that out into the forefront. Because I think when you've got a league that still has tax-exempt status, like their dealings should be out for everybody to see. So
that's fair.
Regardless of how you feel on contracts and these millionaires getting more millions of dollars, the work, I believe, was really important. You had a lot of apathy from Pittsburgh Steelers fans when Aaron Rodgers was reported and then when Aaron Rodgers was delivered to the Steel City. And I can understand that because at worst, that organization's 9-8 is 500 every season. Rodgers comes in. At worst, they're still a 500 team. Now, at best, could they be an AFC championship contender? Could they be a favorite in the AFC North? Now, you still have the Cincinnati Bengals and the Baltimore Ravens that I believe are teams that are ahead of them. But it doesn't look like you're going to get much more of the Aaron Rodgers experience in Pittsburgh past the 2025 football season. So the window's relatively short. Here was Rodgers yesterday on the Pat McAfee Show.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is it. That's why we just did a one-year deal. Steelers didn't need to, put any extra years on that or anything. So, this was really about finishing with a lot of love and fun and peace for the career that I've had. I mean, I played 20 freaking years. It's been a long run, and I've enjoyed it. And what better place to finish than in one of the cornerstone franchises of the NFL with Mike Tomlin and a great group of leadership and great guys in the city that expects you to win.
Do either of you believe him?
I do believe him. I think there was a chance that if the Pittsburgh Steelers would not have been here available to him and he would have had to go to a team like, say, the New Orleans Saints and play football this year, I don't think that he would be playing. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers offer him one more shot to maybe get a crack at a Super Bowl. So I do believe him. I think this is it for Aaron Rodgers, and it probably should be, because once you start getting these thoughts in your head of retirement, you probably are basically retired, so you probably should go ahead and hang them up. So I actually do believe Aaron in this case. I think this will be his last year.
I don't think he knows. I think he is saying this because he is starved for attention and he wants to be appreciated this season for his greatness. Like, hey, this is Aaron Rodgers' last season. Let's celebrate him. And also, I think the parallels between him and and Brett Favre's career are just so staggering. I think that this has an opportunity to be Minnesota 09 all over again, where you see the Steelers end up in like the conference championship game. I don't understand why, like Reeser, you brought it up. You said you thought the Cincinnati Bengals are better than them. I'd push back and say, why? What have the Bengals done? They went 9-8 last year and missed the playoffs. And they always get off to bad starts. I don't understand why people just are assuming, for the most part, that Cincinnati is just going to be better than Pittsburgh when they weren't last year when the Steelers didn't have Aaron Rodgers. And if you just get a slightly better quarterback play from the Steelers this year, I don't see any reason why they can't be an AFC championship contender.
I just think in the league, you need to score a bunch of points, and I have faith that the Bengals are going to do that. To the point about the Steelers, I mean, they did win 6 games by a field goal, to your point. So if you're able to hold teams, then you can get by with Mason Rudolph or Skylar Thompson as your quarterback. And I think Aaron Rodgers, if they get what he did with New York last season, then I think there's a chance they could be better than the Bengals. But just for right now, and that's still the Lamar Jackson-led Ravens, I think still the top of that division. But to your point about where Pittsburgh could go in the postseason, similar to Favre, they wind up in the conference championship game. And Aaron Rodgers goes back to pass, and, oh, you got to be kidding me. I can't believe he did that. And there's an interception, or there's something like with what happened to Favre, and they're on the doors. They're on the precipice of a Super Bowl, and they go out the same way. What's not to look to Aaron Rodgers and say, the team's relatively the same. Let's run this back for one more season. I would just say to Rodgers, pump the brakes on that. But, again, to Dylan's point about him, he constantly needs attention. This is that. We are talking about him right now because of something that he has said. And there's not many people who crave it as much as Rodgers.
I will say this. The Steelers last year were a 10-7 football team. And we know Mike Tomlin doesn't go under 500, right? And I would argue that what you saw with the quarterback play between Justin Fields and Russell Wilson last year, you're going to get at least that, maybe slightly better from Aaron Rodgers. So, yeah, there's no reason that this Steelers football team can't make it into the postseason. And then who knows from there, right? I would argue the Baltimore Ravens are number one in the AFC North, but I think the Bengals and Steelers are kind of on par. I love Joe Burrow and that offense, but there are just so many questions about that defense. And we thought they were having a great offseason. They got Chase and Higgins signed, but then you have the issues with Trey Hendrickson now and Shamar Stewart, which Joe Burrow has come out and said is a distraction. We've talked about their slow starts. There's no reason to think with those distractions that the Bengals won't get off to a slow start this season. And look, if the Steelers do make it into the postseason, I think that's where you'll see the biggest difference from Rodgers with the Steelers is that postseason experience that he will bring to the quarterback position. It was kind of like Tom Brady when he went down to Tampa. The Buccaneers turned from a 9-7 team to just an 11-5 team, and Brady brought a lot of people with him to an already good Buccaneers team. The real difference was the Tom Brady experience in the postseason. That's where having a guy like that really pays off.
It's interesting, as you say that, Cardinal pops in the YouTube chat. Green Bay's my second team. I've seen Rodgers in the postseason. He folds up like a cheap lawn chair.
He has a Super Bowl ring.
And that would have been my retort. And that's what the Steelers are banking on, right? Is Super Bowl caliber quarterback, four-time MVP, guy whose statistical seasons when he's been healthy have been great. This is all we need to make that kind of a run. But yeah, I think yesterday was Tuesday. Today's the first Friday. I'm trying to remember the days of the week because if Rodgers is doing the McAfee thing every Tuesday, you'd wondered when the marriage was first reported between Pittsburgh and Aaron Rodgers, if Tomlin would be cool with that. Like, you going on every week to do this in the offseason, or are you going to go on every week to do it in the regular season? Like, Rodgers is going to do podcasts, but he'll go on with McAfee. And this probably feels like as long as few players will get the benefit of the doubt like he does. And I even think for Mike Tomlin, it's do this, don't let it become a distraction, or don't let it become a problem.
Reese, I was just looking at the Steelers last year a little bit here too. They were 10-7 and lost the last 4 games of the regular season. They had a brutal stretch at the end of the regular season, playing at Philly, at Baltimore, against KC, and against the Bengals. If they're having a season like last year, their stretch at the end of the year not nearly as tough.
Nope.
Miami, at Detroit's pretty good, at Cleveland, and then versus Baltimore. So you could easily see a Steelers team, even if they get the exact same production at the quarterback position, maybe being 11-6 this year just because of that closing stretch.
And you think that he would be the piece to avoid having them fall on their face? Like, you bring in the veteran quarterback, allows you to not have that 4 or 5 game losing streak down the stretch of the regular season. We will bring Jake Trotter on in 2 minutes. It's Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
Men, summertime is here, and that means vacations, summer barbecues, outdoor parties, camping, beaches, and so much more. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if you're like many men, you may not be feeling like yourself this summer. Perhaps your energy is low and you aren't sleeping well. Maybe your workouts aren't as good as they used to be. And if what I'm describing is you, it's very likely you're suffering with low testosterone. But low T doesn't have to affect you anymore. Just call Tri-State Men's Health, get treated, and see how it changes your life. If you're like most men, you'll feel so much better. Deeper sleep, improved vitality and clarity, greater strength and energy, and an enhanced sex drive as well. And because we are so confident in the efficacy of our low T treatment protocols, for a limited time, we are offering you a free first appointment, which includes blood work and a medical consult. Call 800-900-9654. That's 800-900-9654, or go to tristatemenshealth.com. That's tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the tri-state area to serve you.
At Valvoline Instant Oil Change, we're here to help keep you on the road so you can soak up all the summer fun. The road tunes.
Take me out to the ball game.
Hotel pools. Emergency ice cream stops. The sunscreen and bug spray everywhere.
It's in my eyes.
At Valvoline Instant Oil Change, we're here for it all. So stop in for a quick oil change before you go. Only takes about 15 minutes. No appointment needed.
This just in from the Lindsay Honda Newsroom. It's our big anniversary sale. 0% for up to 60 months has been extended on all new Hondas. Try the new 2025 CR-V LX all-wheel drive with 0% financing.
Lower your rate, lower your payment.
Save thousands on hundreds of new Hondas when you buy now.
With so many Hondas, why would you go anywhere else?
Shop the big, the beautiful Lindsay Honda now. Visit lindsayhonda.com for details.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Let me introduce you to a man with a magnificent salt and pepper beard. A man who's currently roasting lamb on a spit. A man who runs the Rocky River Greek Festival. That man is Jake Trotter.
Before we do some college football discussion with ESPN's senior college football reporter, courtesy the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline, Jake, having experienced something similar in 2016 to what you got to experience on Sunday and likely are still experiencing this week, how does it feel on Wednesday to hear the Oklahoma City Thunder are NBA champions, and how was the celebration like in the Trotter household?
Yeah, it feels very surreal. You know, it was surreal alone to have a pro sports team in my hometown, and I had just moved back to Oklahoma City when the Thunder came in 2008, and I remember that first season. Like, I can't believe, you know, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, and all these guys are coming through and playing in Oklahoma City. That alone was surreal. And then, you know, I was at actually Game 1 in 2012 when the Thunder beat LeBron and the Heat in the NBA Finals and then didn't win another game, got the gentleman's sweep. But you did think, okay, like this team is going to be in the mix for years to come. And James Harden got traded the next offseason. They blew the 3-1 lead to Golden State in 2016 after a couple of injury-riddled seasons. And Durant goes to Golden State, and you're just like, I can't believe this era is over. And then 9 years later, 6 years after they made the Paul George trade, you know, they win the championship. And, you know, what's so fun about this team is, you know, they enjoy playing with one another. And, you know, unlike Cleveland, where it kind of felt like, okay, you know, LeBron might leave again. You know, this might be a little bit fleeting. The Thunder not going anywhere anytime soon. I mean, this team is going to be around. I think they learned some lessons. Sam Presti learned some lessons from, you know, what happened in 2012. And, you know, that it wouldn't be unthinkable that they could win, you know, more titles. You know, we had it was a little bit of FOMO not being in Oklahoma City for the championship, but I actually did get to go to Game 5. I was in town and was in the building, and that was enough for me. And, yeah, we had our own little mini parade with the boys. We drove up and down our neighborhood honking the horn and just having a blast watching parade snippets on social media yesterday. So it's really cool. And, you know, who knows? Could be with Halliburton going down with the, you know, the devastating Achilles injury. You've got Lillard, Jason Tatum, you know, both out next year, most likely. I mean, it is right there for a Cavs-Oklahoma City finals, which would be also surreal for me living in Cleveland, but, you know, a Thunder fan.
Yeah, it's how many of those OK Clee shirts would make a reappearance if that were to be the case. Just a quick follow-up. Does Kevin Durant to the Houston Rockets scare you at all as a Thunder fan, knowing, like what you just said, OKC could be set up for a run here in the next 5-10 years?
No, not even a little bit. And that doesn't mean Houston can't beat Oklahoma City in the playoffs. It's a really good team, but no, it doesn't. There's only two players that scare me as a Thunder fan. Would be Nikola Jokic, as he's just, you know, he is. If Shea's not the best player in the world, Nikola Jokic is. And, you know, we just saw, you know, Denver give Oklahoma City all it wanted in a 7-game series. And so, like, if they can add a little bit of depth, like, they're going to be formidable in my view again. And then Victor Wembanyama at San Antonio. I don't think they're ready yet, but they will be soon. And that's going to be a fun rivalry. That was kind of a mini rivalry when, you know, Duncan and Ginobili and Kawhi were down there. And the Thunder had Durant and company, Westbrook. Those are the only two players and teams that would make me nervous. Probably not only in the West, but the entire NBA right now. But Houston's going to be good, and that's exactly what they needed. Because if you watched Houston last year, they were dynamic defensively, and they had a lot of good players. But when it got down to the final minute, you had no idea who was going to take the shot. They just did not have a go-to guy. Now they've got one of the best go-to guys that we've maybe ever seen in the NBA. A guy who can get his bucket when it really matters. So they're going to be good. They don't scare me.
Jake, not only does your team win an NBA championship, but the Rocky River Greek Fest was this past weekend. Were you, in fact, in attendance this past weekend? And what is your favorite thing at the Greek Fest?
I worked the Greek Festival I put in 5 straight, 13, 14-hour days.
Oh, man.
So I'm between that, my daughter's birthday on Monday, and this finals with the Thunder, I'm exhausted in every imaginable way. My favorite thing to eat, I like everything. We have, the lamb shank that our festival does is off the charts, and that's not something, you're going to get very often. So I probably would have to say the lamb shake, but the tiropitas and spanakopita are phenomenal. And I've got a little bit of Greek food left, which I don't know if it's going to make it till tomorrow, but basically been eating nothing but Greek food for 7 straight days now.
It's a good way to go, because I was just about to ask, who gets when the festival ends and you've still got a ton of food left over, I'm sure you guys did. How does that divide up process work? Do you get to, I got dibs on this?
It's crazy. We didn't have food left. We were running out. That's how
it's a good problem.
The festival this year. Yeah, that's the goal, is to run out of food. So we had no lamb. We had no spanakopita. The maves were out. We ran out of green beans. It was crazy. So basically all that was left with the zuzukake, which are the meatballs and rice, which are actually my favorite. So I'm not mad about that. And then, and souvlaki sandwiches, that's it. So I got a lot of that. But yeah, we ran out of everything. It was crazy. I was if you came through the drive-thru at 6:00 Sunday, your options were very limited.
We could do food talk for the next hour, but
yeah.
We will have, I'll give you one college football question for myself, and then Baker might have another one. With the news about the Pac-12 yesterday and some continuing additions for that conference, are they still considered, or should they be considered, Power 5?
No. And it's not their fault. It's just, they just don't have the programs that the other conferences do. Even the Big 12, which doesn't really have, a flagship program left. They've also got 10, pretty good college football programs, and you just can't say that about the Pac-12. And the ACC still got Clemson, Florida State, Miami, and then, a bunch of other, prolific programs. So they're clearly not at that level. In terms of the language of the playoff, I don't think that they're, we'll see what happens. Who knows with college football, right? It's impossible to guess what's going to happen, in the next couple of years. But no, if you're asking me, no, they're not at that level. But good for Oregon State and Washington State, kind of weathering the storm and trying to make the best of what was a really bad situation for them.
Jake, on Friday, we got the news that Wisconsin had filed a lawsuit against Miami, claiming that they had broke the law by tampering with freshman defensive back Xavier Lucas as they're trying to enforce the terms of this financial NIL contract between Lucas and the school. Is this something that the NCAA wants happening, and are we going to see more of this?
Well, I don't think the NCAA is going to be it's going to be outside their jurisdiction, more or less, going forward with the implementation of the House settlement. And what are they calling it? I can't remember what they're calling it. The College Sports Commission.
Yep. Yeah.
Where they're going to we're going to have to learn new phrases and new governmental bodies going forward. They're going to be they're going to be presumably overseeing this type of stuff. I also think too, with the House settlement, and now the schools are going to be compensating these athletes directly, and you'll have NIL. You're going to have, somebody overseeing these NIL agreements where they're a little more concrete. And then from there, I think you can prove tampering a little bit easier than you can right now. So I think this is sort of a product of the system that we've had where there's just been almost no rules. It's been the total wild, wild west, and there's no transparency. Hopefully we're going to get a little bit more of that going forward. But, yeah, I mean, it just underscores what a chaotic system college football has created for itself, and with hopes that the House settlement and everything coming from it can calm things down at least a little bit. I don't think it's going to completely, because college football has always been kind of a rogue sport in a lot of ways. But right now it's just been completely untenable.
Jake, and then I got to ask you one more. This is from our good buddy Tyvis Powell. He wanted me to ask you this. He said that he has seen some mock drafts that compare Drew Aller to Joe Flacco, and if you saw any of that in Aller's game.
Well, listen, you see Joe Flacco, he's a big guy. Joe Flacco, even at, 40-something now, can make every throw. It was Amari Cooper, after 3 practices with Joe Flacco, called his passes poetry in motion. So Flacco has got the arm and the size that you would call prototypical for the NFL, and Drew Aller's got every bit of that. He might even be a little bit taller, than Flacco. He's still filling out a little bit. He's got more mobility than Joe does, obviously. I think for Drew, it's just going to be consistency and, coming through in big moments, especially against the Ohio States and Notre Dames of the world, which, hasn't happened to this point. I get what Tyvis is saying. He's trying to troll me a little bit. But listen, November 1st, Penn State goes to Columbus. There's going to be a massive game. I think both teams have a excellent shot to make the playoff, even if one loses that game. And if you're Penn State, you're James Franklin. I mean, that's a game you've got to win. You've got Jim Knowles. You've got the inside, info on the defense and everything else. You've got, arguably the most productive running back duo that, we have seen in the last 20 years, and Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen from a career production perspective. I mean, they have put up, Sony Michel, Nick Chubb-like numbers already. And they still got another year. And you've got Aller, who's played a ton of football. So, it's time. It's time for Aller and Penn State to deliver. And we're going to see if they're going to be able to. And, it'll be a tough day for Tyvis if Aller comes through. I'll say that. He'll never hear the end of it from me.
Well, Jake, we appreciate the time today. Enjoy the leftovers. Enjoy celebrating the Thunder's championship. We look forward to catching up with you next week. All right, bud?
All right, guys. Take care.
There he goes. He is ESPN senior college football reporter Jake Trotter, courtesy of the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. WWE champion George Kittle. Could that be coming sooner rather than later? That's next. Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
Road trip! This summer at Tire Discounters, your tires are your passport to savings, because you're driving to Paris,
Texas,
then it's off to Rome,
Georgia,
and you'll be kissing the Blarney Stone in Dublin,
Ohio!
Right now, save up to $494 when you buy 4 tires, and that includes a free alignment and oil change. Stop at Tire Discounters before you see the world.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Don't let bad feet stop you from being active and getting healthy this year. Trade in your bad feet for good feet at the Good Feet store.
Guys, don't waste your time and money with low-quality online TRT that charges you over $100 just to start. Visit our TRT experts at Low T Center today for a free consultation and free test. Treatment is personalized to your body, and most major insurance is accepted. With the freedom to choose if you want in-center care or at-home treatment, you're in control of your health. Looking to lose weight? Get a free B12 shot when you start prescription treatment. Offer is limited, so book now at fixmylowt.com. Fixmylowt.com.
He shoots, he scores!
No matter your sport, it's a great time of year to be a fan. But the fun stops when you or a loved one can't control your gambling. At Maryhaven, we're here to help. Whether it's gambling, drugs, alcohol, or mental health, you don't have to go it alone. With in-person, virtual, and group options, Maryhaven meets you where you are. Always judgment-free. Go to maryhaven.com today. That's maryhaven.com.
Matty Ice here. When I needed a new Chevy, I headed to McDaniel GM Superstore in Marion. Right now, get up to $12,000 off MSRP on a 25 Silverado LD. They've got no market adjustments, no hidden costs, and sales managers are on the floor ready to help. That's been the McDaniel difference since 1916. They're just a short drive north off Route 23 in Marion, or you can visit McDanielGMSuperstore.com. McDaniel GM Superstore, where great deals meet a century of trust. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
This summertime, it's Modelo time. Whether you're poolside or curbside, kick it with an ice cold Modelo. Time to fire up the grill and turn up. Time to reach for a crisp Modelo or the refreshing lime and salt flavors of Modelo Chelada. Time to raise one to summer, and time to stock up on Modelo before summer is gone. Drink responsibly. Beer and flavored beer imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
This is Corey Sickles with Safe Harbor Retirement Group. Reliable streams of income are crucial for retirees, and Social Security and pensions aren't enough. We can help. Visit safeharboroh.com to schedule a complimentary meeting. safeharboroh.com.
Join Rothman and Ice every Thursday at 2:30 for Gold Jacket Thursday.
Presented by the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
A new Hall of Famer joins the show every week, but not OJ because he's dead and probably a murderer. The Fan.
Newman Roofing, as part of their 2025 Commitment to Community initiative, is proud to sponsor The Fan and 10 TV's Beat the Heat Fan Drive, benefiting Life Care Alliance. You can help Ohio's most vulnerable residents deal with the extreme heat this summer. How can you help? Purchase new box fans and bring them to the nearest Franklin County Fire Station, or you can buy online and ship fans directly to Life Care Alliance. The collection and distribution of fans is to assist residents who are at risk of heat stroke or heat exhaustion. For more information, go to lifecarealliance.org.
Common Man here. I want to talk to you about my buddy Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers. It's rare that a business comes along and offers you such great quality, service, price. If you or someone you love or like, or even strangers on the street tell you they need a jeweler, tell them you got a guy, and that guy is Bob Capace at Worthington Jewelers.
I'm Bob Capace, and I'm your guy.
Worthington Jewelers on High Street in Worthington, worthingtonjewelers.com, where Columbus gets engaged.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. The final season of Yellowstone might just be Bo's dad live on YouTube. What's the difference anyway? This is Bishop and Friends.
Yes, it is. Eric Reeser, Ryan Baker rolling along on a first Friday edition of the program. In about 10 minutes, we'll do Hey Guys, as is tradition, every first Friday. So there's still time to get those questions in at 971BFS or on the YouTube chat. Our favorite one gets that $50 gift card. The distillery tour and the tasting for up to 10 people with our great friends at High Bank.
Thing or not a thing?
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
On the most recent episode of the Bussin' with the Boys podcast, 49ers tight end George Kittle was asked about his football mortality.
How long are you wanting to play?
Oh, until I don't have fun anymore.
Till the wheels fall off.
Yeah.
He's a wheels fall off guy.
Yeah. Or if Claire looks at me and goes, "You kind of look like out there. You should retire." And I'll be like, "All right."
That's probably how it'll happen.
Yeah. That or yeah. I don't know. I think if I get to I'm 35 and it hurts to get it hurts just to put pants on in the morning. I think I'll be like, this isn't that much fun anymore. And then I'll have a conversation with myself. But no, I'm feeling great right now.
Thing or not a thing?
I mean, I think this is a thing, right? Because Father Time is undefeated. And George Kittle is a guy that has already had a very productive career. We've seen some injuries the past couple of years slow some of that production down. He's also a guy that, man, he sure seems like he wants to have fun, right? Every time you see him pop up in the crowd at WWE doing stuff with that. And he's always having fun. He's a guy that is enjoying life. And with that, he'll probably have some other opportunities, right? When he's done playing, whenever he decides that is, whether that be a WWE career type thing with like Pat McAfee has done, or whether that's in the broadcasting field and he follows the lead of many NFL guys and goes into that part of work afterwards. So a lot of times when guys have a lot of other interests outside of football, it's easier for them to leave the game. So maybe George Kittle is a guy that isn't going to play until the wheels fall off, like he says.
Yeah, to me, it's a thing. I don't have the ability or the passion for football that these NFL players do. But if I was them, I would be the type of guy that retires at 30. I would get my money and I would take my health if I have it at the time, and I would just be gone and not even risk getting older and risking, the concussion issues that we've heard about or any other injury. I would just be gone at 30. But to your point, Baker, Kittle, I mean, he's a real likable guy. He has great personality. He'd be great on TV. He'd be great in WWE. So it's not like if he were to retire, he would just go to the island of irrelevancy. He would still be a pretty well-known commodity. So, yeah, I mean, we might be seeing the last few seasons of George Kittle.
This was from, ESPN had the report this morning. The Minnesota Timberwolves' $1.5 billion sale to Mark Lowry and Alex Rodriguez officially confirmed by the NBA's Board of Governors Tuesday. In an interview with The Athletic, Lowry was adamant he and A-Rod have no plans to relocate the Timberwolves from Minnesota. Quote, "We love the idea of Minnesota history and playing a part in that history. To move it and start over would be devastating, not only to the community and the fans, but us as well. It's not consistent with our value system." End quote. Thing or not a thing?
So I think this is a thing because whenever owners start talking about moving teams, that's a bad thing, especially when you start off like that. I would say normally this is not a thing. I feel like we just talk about this because A-Rod's involved, and this is a process, Reese. I don't know if you know this off the top of your head right now. It's been like 3 or 4 years in the making that this group with A-Rod has been trying to buy not only the Minnesota Timberwolves, but a sports franchise in general. Didn't they have talks with trying to buy the Mets possibly at one time? Or
A-Rod was part of a group that was in on the Mets, and then him and his business partner in the group that now own the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Minnesota Lynx had an agreement in place. The original owner, whose name escapes me currently, tried to renege on the whole thing. Basically pull it.
Yeah.
And so they've been in court trying to figure out, like, well, we signed the agreement, we made all of the payments at the right time. You've been difficult for this. And I think a judge finally had to say, no, you made that agreement. You have to sell to this ownership group led by Alex Rodriguez.
But I feel like the initial offer was not $1.5 billion. So I feel like that initial owner maybe got some more money, because I don't at least remember it being $1.5 billion. Yeah. But regardless, I feel like we're just talking about this because A-Rod is involved, and that's a name. But like I said, I don't think it's ever good when your first statement is, yeah, we don't have any plans on moving the team.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't really think it's a thing. I think we're talking about this just because it's A-Rod. But when I saw $1.5 million, I mean, I know, like you said, this was agreed upon years ago. But the first thing I thought was, man, some seller's remorse. We just saw the Lakers get sold for $10 billion. I wonder if he would have waited it out till after that sale. I know the Timberwolves aren't going to be worth $10 billion, but you figured they're worth more than 1.5 if another franchise in the same league just went for 10. So, man, I think he wishes he would have waited out a little longer to sell the Timberwolves.
I was just looking on social media. So George Kittle does that tight end university with all the tight ends in the league, and that's where he was recording the Bussin' with the Boys podcast, and they're doing it in Nashville. And I think like one of their parties, there was a surprise performance by Taylor Swift. And I think it's one of the cooler things that NFL players have done recently in the offseason is kind of just make a very viral experience like what Kittle, what Travis Kelce, and all those guys are doing at Tight End University. Because, like, looking at some of these images, there's so many sponsors that are involved with it, like Bud Light, Charmin, Chubby's, Theo Vaughn's out there doing drills with these guys. Like, so good on them for taking a position that's not as ballyhooed and making it fun during a time when there's not a lot for the NFL but collusion reports. Still got time to get your Hey Guys questions in. Our favorite one, of course, gets that $50 gift card, the distillery tour, and the tasting for up to 10 people at our friends at High Bank Distillery at 971BFS on the YouTube chat. We will ask them and then answer them coming up next. Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
Oh, hey, the best football team in the country's on the best radio station in the country. Congratulations, Buckeyes. Here's to 100 more years together. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we helped Chad.
Hi, I'm Chad. I've been taking the low T treatment at Tri-State Men's Health for a little under a year now. So I was really just struggling with finding the energy to accomplish the things I wanted to do every day. By the end of the workday, I was very drained and tired and found it hard to concentrate and get my job done, and was looking for something to kind of get that edge back. Once I started taking the treatment, I felt probably within the first 2 to 3 weeks more energy. And the thing that really I noticed right away was sleeping. Now I get a solid 8 hours. You know, I'm going on vacation. I'm enjoying myself. So men out there, if you're struggling with any of the symptoms I was, low energy, brain fog, lack of sleep, I would highly recommend you call Tri-State Men's Health. You won't regret it.
Thanks, Chad. It's true. Low T therapy will likely change your life. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
We could tell you what makes Giant Eagle special, but we think our customers say it best.
I love the fresh produce. I love the fresh meat.
I'm pretty sure the fish guy knows me by now. We're buds.
I love to grill. That alone keeps me coming back.
The people that work here are so nice and so helpful.
Everybody loves the cakes from Giant Eagle.
On every shelf, in every department, we're always going for better because being your Giant Eagle matters.
This is my Giant Eagle.
This is my Giant Eagle.
This is my Giant Eagle.
Hey, it's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place.
One of my favorite things, Wilson, is the look on people's faces when they see the end price for Pella windows.
Yeah, I'm always hearing, does it look like I'm wearing my money britches?
More like, I can't believe we get the Pella look and quality at these prices.
Oh, you went the other way with that. You're hearing good things. Oh, this is awkward.
Get the window that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and, of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in experience and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
10 West Broad, Columbus. CordellCordell.com.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text BODY to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text BODY to 321-321. That's BODY to 321-321.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The Reds look to break out the brooms Wednesday night, hosting the Yankees at 7:10. It's the finale of a 3-game series. Gavin Lux walked off on New York last night in the 11th inning to give Cincinnati a 5-4 win. That was their third in a row. You can hear tonight's game on the Fan following the Buckeyes show. As for the Guardians, Cleveland looks to bounce back from Tuesday's 10-6 loss to Toronto. Guardians are going to send Gavin Williams to the mound opposite Max Scherzer for the Blue Jays. First pitch from Progressive is 6:40. In basketball tonight, the first round of the NBA draft starts at 8 o'clock. The Dallas Mavericks have the first overall pick. They're expected to use it on Duke forward Cooper Flagg. The Spurs have the second pick. Sixers have the third. Cavaliers do not have a first-round pick this year. This update sponsored by Germain Toyota, the best selection of new and used cars in Central Ohio. View their full selection of vehicles online at germaintoyota.net. Breaking sports news when it happens on the Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Distilled sports discussion served in light beer quantities. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
A celebrity fight I might actually pay for coming up here in about 15 minutes. But first, because it is a First Friday, we'll do a little Hey Guys.
Nothing is off limits. Your participation is required. Just use the hashtag #HeyGuys and ask anything you want. Do it now.
And our favorite Hey Guys question gets that $50 gift card to High Bank Distillery. Also wins you a distillery tour and a tasting for up to 10 people. And those who have gone to High Bank and done the tour and the tasting can confirm it is a 10 out of 10 experience. With that, we will start on the YouTube chat. And friend of the program, Phil, asks, hey guys, when is the Box Fan donation this year? Well, Phil, I'm glad you asked. Our annual Beat the Heat fan drive is taking place starting Friday, June 27th. You can join Rothman and Ice this Friday for a special live broadcast as we kick off the 2025 Beat the Heat fan drive. The boys are going to be live from the Westerville Fire Station at 400 West Main Street. We're asking you to help a neighbor in need. Bring a new Box fan to donate. And as a thank you, the first 100 people who drop off a fan will receive a pair of tickets to the Cardale Jones charity softball game at Huntington Park on July 19th. Help Central Ohio stay cool this summer. It's the Beat the Heat fan drive in partnership with 10 TV, Life Care Alliance, and the Fan, Ohio sports destination. So 400 West Main Street in Westerville. That's at the Westerville Fire Department. Also at our station here at 770 Twin Rivers Drive. We're going to be doing that Friday here from 11 a.m. to 6:30. So if you want to stop by the big old tower that says WBNS TV, bring that box fan out here and again, help our friends in need. But great question to start us off, Phil. Ace asks in the YouTube chat, hey guys, if you could get lifetime tickets to a major sports championship /game/series, which would you choose? Could be any sport, any league.
So this is tough because the hockey fan in me wants to say the Stanley Cup, but that has a lot of moving parts and pieces, right? Different places you're going and whatnot. Could be 7 games, could be 4 games, all of that. I think I've got it narrowed down to 2. One would be the Masters, The other would be the Final Four. I've always had a love affair with the NCAA tournament and everything that is. So I think it would be fun to have the tickets to the Final Four, see the games on Saturday, the championship on Monday. I think those would be my two.
For me, it's easily the Super Bowl because I feel like the ones you mentioned are somewhat financially achievable, but the Super Bowl is not. So I would need these hypothetical lifetime tickets for the Super Bowl because it's such a corporate event that it's so hard for the casual fan to get in. So I would say the Super Bowl.
Yeah, see, I was thinking the Super Bowl, but I don't know if I would do well dealing with all of those people before into the event. So I'm not sure this is the best question for me because those championship games is just a massive humanity. And I don't know if I'd be terribly interested in it. But if you were going to give me tickets, it would, I think, be the College Football Playoff National Championship. One, because I think that would probably be the best spectacle of any championship game. And I think there's a good chance in the next decade you see Ohio State there a couple
times. I was
going
to say you probably see your favorite team the most.
So it might be a good place. Two birds, one stone. Andrew asks in the YouTube chat, hey guys, what's your preferred way to consume ice cream? Cone, bowl, on a stick, or in a sandwich?
An ice cream sandwich is good.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. It's so weird because I feel like if you get it at home, like you get ice cream at the store, you're going to eat it in a bowl all the time. And I feel like that's the way you do it most, but there's sometimes really something really good about just going to the ice cream shop. I live right by a Handles and just walking over there and grabbing you a nice waffle cone and putting it in there. But I'm going to say a majority of the time it's probably a bowl.
I would say that there is no wrong way to consume ice cream. Any way is great. Does a milkshake count as consuming ice cream? Because if that's the case, milkshake for me when I'm out. At home, I used to be a big bowl guy. Now I'm on the cones because there's no dishes after. You just eat it, and that's it. It's over. So
fair point.
Cones at home, milkshake on the road.
Yeah, I used to be a big cone guy, but sandwiches now are kind of because you can buy those like M&M's ice cream ones in the store, and even Aldi has them.
By the Oreo ice cream
so
sandwiches.
There's those as well. Like anytime you can get ice cream and 2 cookies involved, I think you're having a pretty good time. Waffle cone for me when I'm out. I used to not like the mess of it, but just getting the munch of the waffle cone with the ice cream, it's a pretty good way to do it. I just saw this from Ace. He asks, hey guys, in the YouTube chat, name the city you remember having the best food you've had on a trip and where that food stood out. And I was thinking about it the other day. Charleston, we did a trip a couple years ago, and I forget what I was thinking. I think I was getting my hair cut, and they had on the television diners, drive-ins, and dives. And he was at a place called the Tattooed Moose in Charleston. And I remember going there, and they had duck fat French fries that I still think about to this day. And it's been like 6 years.
So I'll be heading to Florida here in a couple weeks. And Florida food, as far as seafood, is just different. Like seafood at the beach is different than seafood you can get here in Columbus for the most part. There's a restaurant that we go to every year. I get a stuffed grouper down there. It's got scallops and shrimp and crab meat in it. It's easily a top 3 meal I've ever had. Every time I go, I get it. It does not disappoint. And they have a bunch of mom and pop breakfast shops down there, and it's hard to, mess up breakfast, but it is so good. So my trip in a couple weeks, I will be having some really good food. I will tell you this though, the best meal I've ever eaten was in Chattanooga, Tennessee. We stopped at a restaurant and got a steak and a sweet potato. And man, I don't know what they did and what it was, but it was just different down there. The way they cooked that sweet potato and that steak, it was so good. So Chattanooga, Tennessee is number 1 on my list.
So I spent the first half of my childhood in New York, and that's normally my go-to if I'm traveling. I want to go and eat food. It's New York. But if we're excluding that, New Orleans, man, gumbo down there, just everything's spicy. I'm pretty big into spice. I just feel like the food down there is just totally different than what you get from a day-to-day here. Just flavors, spices, hotness. I'm just all about the New Orleans cuisine.
Michael asks on Twitter at 971BFS, hey guys, what's your biggest what if in sports history?
Gosh, that's a
good question.
That's so tough. There's so many, right? Like,
I'll say this, just as you're trying to think about it, the 2020 NCAA tournament. Yes. I will maintain that Obi Toppin and the Dayton Flyers are winning that thing. And to have a school like Dayton win the NCAA championship in men's basketball would have been pretty incredible.
So just personally, I think of what if the Jackets could have gotten by the Boston Bruins? Could they have won the Stanley Cup that year? What if Ernest Biner doesn't fumble the football? Can the Cleveland Browns win the Super Bowl?
What if Marvin Harrison Jr. doesn't get knocked out in the Sugar Bowl?
That's a good one. What if Jimmy Jackson and that Buckeyes team beats Michigan for that third time in the Elite Eight? Do they go on and win the national championship? I will say a good one, because this is not one of my teams. What if Kenyon Martin doesn't get hurt before the NCAA tournament? And that Cincinnati team, could they have went on to win it all? Because they would have been a number one seed had he not, and they would have been one of the favorites. So what if Kenyon Martin doesn't get hurt?
Yeah, there's so many to choose from. I think of like Chris Paul getting traded to the Lakers. What if that doesn't get nixed? What if Jordan doesn't retire for 2 years and go play baseball? Do they have an 8-peat? What if the tarp doesn't come on the field in the 2016 World Series? Sorry, Reeser.
I was going to go there. What if there isn't a weather delay in Cleveland?
Yeah, those were the few that came to mind for me.
Here's one we talked about the other day. What if Tatgate never happens?
How deep it didn't go?
Just like
that swinging door, like, because then Trestle's here, Urban's not here.
Exactly. What if Tatgate didn't happen? The history of football, Ohio State football, might be totally different.
All right, we do have to pick a winner, but because I want to do better with clock management, there's a couple more that I'd like to get to. We will do some more Hey Guys, and we'll pick the winner to give out that $50 gift card next. It's Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Common Man here. Let me tell you something. I'm on these Germain inter-office emails. At Germain Lexus, during the month of June, they've challenged themselves to sell more cars than they ever have in 1 month. What does that mean? Well, I'm stupid, but to me, that means they're willing to deal, baby. And the Memorial cars are on the lot. The ones the golfers drive for the tournament are now available to you. I've been a Germain customer for years, even before I started doing the commercials. If you're in the market, please stop in. Germain Lexus, 2 locations to serve you, Dublin and Easton, GermainLexus.com.
He shoots, he scores! No matter your sport, it's a great time of year to be a fan. But the fun stops when you or a loved one can't control your gambling. At Maryhaven, we're here to help. Whether it's gambling, drugs, alcohol, or mental health, you don't have to go it alone. With in-person, virtual, and group options, Maryhaven meets you where you are. Always judgment-free. Go to maryhaven.com today. That's maryhaven.com.
Summer is finally here. That means long days, warm nights, barbecues, sporting events, and that vacation you've been planning for months. The last thing you want to deal with is a leaking roof or unexpected damage to your home. At Newman Roofing, we understand that life gets busy and your time is important. And that's why we designed our entire process around you. Whether it's your roof, siding, or gutters, we believe in doing things the right way, not the rushed way. No high-pressure sales, no pushy pitches, just honest conversations from professionals who respect your time and your home. When you call Newman Roofing, here's what you can expect. First, we'll take time to diagnose the issue, not just slap on a quick fix. Then we'll present clear, quality solutions and answer your questions so you can make the best decision for your family and your budget. And right now, we're offering special financing options so you can protect your home without putting your summer plans on hold. So go ahead, fire up the grill, pack your bags, or hit the ball field. Let Newman Roofing take care of the rest. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
I can't wait to meet her. Oh my gosh.
Put your hands together for new Dr. Pepper Blackberry and Dr. Pepper Blackberry Zero Sugar.
There she is! Woohoo! Yeah! It's full Dr. Pepper!
With sweet blackberry flavor!
Dr. Pepper Blackberry, I'm obsessed with your succulent taste. Please marry me!
No! Marry me! Marry me, or I'm gonna freak out!
Try new Dr. Pepper Blackberry.
It's a pepper thing!
This 4th of July, Bob's Discount Furniture is bringing back 4 for the 4th. Spotlighting 4 must-have trendsetters for $7.99 and under, like my farmhouse chic Calvin bedroom, Playday sectional with pop-up sleeper and hidden storage, Consumer Reports recommended treasure mattress, and my 5-star Betty dining set in 4 gorgeous colors. So stop in or visit mybobs.com and celebrate 4 for the 4th. Oh, my Bob!
Bob's Discount Furniture.
They were national champs on the football field, but how far can they hit a softball? Find out at the Monogram Homes Cardale Jones Charity Softball Game.
Presented by the Ohio State University Army ROTC. Saturday, July 19th at Huntington Park.
Bring the whole family and watch Team Cardale battle Team Braxton Miller. Don't miss the Home Run Derby and see stars like Ted Ginn Jr. and Maurice Clarett. Get your tickets at 971thefan.com. Do it now.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers!
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Another hot summer day ahead with our feels like in the triple digits and the air temperature in the mid to low 90s. We'll see partly sunny to mostly sunny skies with a chance of showers and thunderstorms developing the second half of the day, some which could be on the stronger side with heavy downpours and gusty winds. For tonight, partly cloudy with overnight lows in the mid 70s, and then for Thursday, a tad bit cooler with our feels like still in the upper 90s to right around 100 degrees. Chances of thunderstorms develop yet again for the second half of the day. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
If the sound of another man slammed against plexiglass turns you on, you've come to the right place. Proud to be your home for Jackets hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Our top men are working on everything except this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
Yeah, extra not top men on the program today. Reeser, Baker, Dylan. Tomorrow as well. We'll continue with the AV cart version of this program. And then Friday, I think Dave Biddle's coming on with you. Dylan.
Me and Bids. It'll be a good time.
I'm off. We still have a couple more hey guys that I did want to get to because you guys keep sending them in fast and furious right at 11 o'clock. So curating them is always a fun challenge because you never really, I don't trust my reading all the time. So if I see one in the YouTube chat, I got to like copy and paste it and then read it twice. Because if I just read it right off the cup, I probably get a lot of stuff incorrect. But continuing again, John in the YouTube chat. Hey guys, if you had to run a 5K or watch a CBJ Stanley Cup Finals game, who are the first 2 celebrities you'd want to do that with? And if I'm understanding the question, again, reading difficult for your friend Eric, I'm getting to pick which one I want to do, and then I'm getting to pick the celebrities. So I'm going to watch a Jackets Stanley Cup Finals game because that means the Blue Jackets are in the Stanley Cup Finals. And if I'm choosing 2 celebrities to watch that with, I'm going to choose 2 who I'm pretty sure a CBJ Stanley Cup Finals game would mean a lot to. Now, Rick Nash was the first hockey player I ever loved. It was ever my favorite hockey player. The first one was Rick Nash. And then Ron Tugnut, who should have been president.
This is such a great question. And I, like you, I guess I kind of wanted to get celebrities that I think this would mean something to. And I don't know how big we're going on the celebrity scale here, but I am going to use my power here, and I am going to resurrect a guy that we on this show have talked about, was born right here in Columbus, Ohio. And I don't know if he was a hockey fan or not, But if he was, I feel like he would have to be a Blue Jackets fan. And that is my guy, the Macho Man, Randy Savage. I would want to watch the Stanley Cup Finals with him. And then the other one I was thinking of is, and I don't know how big on the celebrity they scale are, but give me one of either George Matthews or Bill Davidge, the very first ever voice of the Blue Jackets on the radio. You know that would mean a lot to them. Give me the Macho Man and one of them, and I think we'd have a hell of a time.
I like Macho Man, too, and you said you don't know how big we're going on the celebrity scale. I'm going to go pretty small. Local celebrity. Ryan Baker. I'd love to watch a Stanley Cup final with Ryan Baker. I feel like no one else would appreciate the Blue Jackets winning a Stanley Cup than Ryan Baker, so I'm going with my boy Ryan here.
I might cry, Dylan.
Now, Baker, are you resurrecting the Macho King, or are you bringing back, like, Bonesaw? Like, which Macho Man do you expect in this?
Oh.
There's different iterations, I think you're getting.
For me, the guy straight from the Slim Jim commercial.
Okay.
That Macho Man.
Yeah, I think we need, like, first-run WWE Macho Man, which that would include the Macho King and whatnot. Like, I need that guy.
Okay. All right, we also have to pick a winner.
I think our guy Ace in the YouTube chat had a pretty good one with about tickets for life to whatever championship. That would be a good one.
It was a fun question. So thanks to all for submitting questions. We'll do it again next First Friday. But we'll be back for that experience. But congratulations to you, Ace. You win that $50 gift card to our friends at High Bank, as well as the distillery tasting and tour for up to 10 of your friends. So get 10 people and you go to see our friends at High Bank once you get the gift card and have yourself a wonderful time. I'd ask, go ahead.
Real quick, I love this one from Dan the Man in the YouTube chat. He said his biggest what if Michigan didn't cheat?
Well, that is a big what if. And what's it, 30 to 60 days is what Charlie Baker said. He expected a ruling on that sign stealing scandal, and it's a slap on the wrist is probably what you're going to be getting for that. I had teased in the last segment a celebrity boxing match that I would actually pay for. Now, this I got from the Daily Beast, and I'll just read it. Controversial influencer and Netflix star Brian Johnson, a.k.a. the Liver King, has been arrested in Austin after posting a bizarre video challenging Joe Rogan to a fight. So, the Liver King, Baker, you had said you did not know who that was.
Yeah, I've never heard of the Liver King. I have no clue.
Dylan, are you familiar with the Liver King?
I am not. Are you?
Really?
Apparently so.
Okay. I did not expect both of you to have no idea who this person was. So he's a large human being that did a lot of steroids and kind of rose to fame on social media, talking about like 9 ancestral tenets. And he ate raw liver. He ate a lot of parts from animals that while you could eat, I don't think you should. And he said that eating all of those things and avoiding like technology, avoiding, I don't think he wore shoes. I don't think he ever wore a shirt. But just give him a Google. I guess give him a search wherever it is you want to, because he's everywhere. Netflix even did a Liver King documentary. So if you have, I don't know how much time it would be worth at this point, but I would actually give a couple of dollars to watch those two go at it. Because I think Joe Rogan fancies himself a really good fighter. I think Liver King's just a large human and a ton of steroids probably between the two of them.
So I don't know this Liver King at all. So I know nothing about him.
That doesn't surprise me about you. Dylan, I'm a little surprised, does not know the Liver King.
But I will say this. Joe Rogan absolutely loves mixed martial arts. And not only is he a commentator, but he trains in the mixed martial arts as well, and has for a long time, and has maybe not competed in an MMA fight, but has competed in forms of martial arts before. I don't know if this Liver King wants any of that, because I don't know if any of us, if we're not trained fighters, no matter how big and bad we are, want to fight people that are trained in the mixed martial arts.
No, and it looks like he's being charged with 1 count of terroristic threat. So I don't know what that carries. It's a Class B misdemeanor. I've seen so many people on social media challenging other people to fights that that doesn't move me as a terroristic threat. Like, wouldn't Joe Rogan have to claim feeling threatened for this to advance to having the police called and having him in handcuffs?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, there had to be more involved in this than just, hey, I'm challenging you to a fight. There had to be some kind of threat, right, involved, or physical harm to Rogan and his family, or, you know, people close to him. There has to be more to this.
I mean, Joe Rogan is the Liver King, your fear factor.
The only celebrity fight that I've wanted to see that has popped up recently was either last year or the year before, Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk. That was the one that I wanted to see. Facebook versus X, you know, 2 billionaires. Like, this story just writes itself, and they both were like acting like they were about it, and then obviously it fizzled out. But of all the celebrity fights that have come up in recent years, that was the only one that had traction that I wanted to see.
Now, when I say I'd pay, it'd only be like $10 or $15.
Right. Like
this isn't going to be $100 expense like with one of the Paul fights. All right, I think the last one was on Netflix, and I had that anyway, but I wouldn't go out of my way to do it. But I think, you know, you could sell me on if it was Patrick Mahomes' dad, and I forget the baseball player that
John Rocker.
That
Yes.
They had the confrontation on Bourbon Street during the Super Bowl, and that turned out to be a ruse where Barstool Sports was trying to promote that fight.
But still, that like a fight
interest.
A fight like that could be on like the undercard of my Zuckerberg Musk. Like, if we have a whole card of celebrity fights, that could have been underneath
Zuckerberg Musk feels like a clumsy fight.
Yeah, I believe one of them, I can't remember which one. One of them actually did train
Zuckerberg
in some
was
fighting
trained.
a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah, but yeah, that seems terrible. Can we get Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning? That would be fun.
Tom
wouldn't
Brady's
it?
not fighting anybody.
Or Tom Brady versus Eli Manning. Maybe we have a 2-fight series.
Tom Brady
there.
versus his wife's jiu-jitsu
No.
coach.
Yeah,
Tom Brady's dead.
no. That's we can't have that. Remember when like Le'Veon Bell and Adrian Peterson fought? And did you see
No.
Adrian Peterson last week, by the way?
I did not.
Adrian Peterson, there was like some poker game happening somewhere, and Adrian Peterson and some dude get in a fight, like just some random dude that's at this poker game, and this dude actually got Adrian Peterson a little bit, stuck him with a hard right, and then they kind of got in close, and he was giving him some uppercuts, and then it looked like AP kind of like grabbed him against a wall and kind of had him under control, and then the video stops, but Adrian Peterson just fighting random guys.
Yeah, I saw that video, and I was very disappointed in Adrian Peterson. I was like a huge fan of his, and I'm like, man, he can't fight. Is Adrian Peterson only a threat if he has a switch in his hand? I guess that is the case.
Ouch.
I don't know if I can like take any of this seriously because it feels like it's all just promotion. Like if Liver King's getting arrested is and this is what I think social media has done to us. It makes you, if you didn't question everything before, even questioning this now, where if it's not just staged, right?
I don't feel, and I don't know, maybe not, but I don't feel like this is something Joe Rogan would participate in. I feel like this is something that he does not want to do. Like, he respects martial arts too much. As we said, he has such a fondness for them and has a background in them a little bit. I feel like this is below Joe Rogan, and he would not do this no matter how much money he could make.
So that's where I wonder now if the Liver King, and did either of you Google this person, Liver King?
I did.
And no? Still no?
No, I'm with Baker. I think Joe Rogan would absolutely mess him up.
Probably, but I'm just, again, still surprised that both of you had not heard of this human being before.
This Liver King fellow looks like he should be in WWE.
There's probably crossover, right? Big hulking person on maybe steroids.
He looks like a great value macho man.
I think Liver King's blood work got leaked, and it was, yes, very many steroids.
I feel like he could have been a member of the Wyatt family very easily.
Yes, I could agree with that.
Also, in thinking to your point about WWE, and they faked police officers for years. So why couldn't this Liver King person pay people to dress up as police officers, pay them to arrest, and I'm using air quotes, to at least try to get back into, I mean, we're talking about it now. Because I thought it'd be interesting, because I thought any of you had heard about friggin' Liver King, the 9 ancestral tenets, which include eating raw liver. Baker, I know you told me yesterday that you didn't want to hear from Deontay Johnson. anymore. Well, we're going to hear from him coming up in 2 minutes. It's Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
You can save big on 12 packs of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or 7-Up. Select varieties or buy 2, get 2 free with your card. Limit 8. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Hey guys, don't waste time and money with low-quality online TRT that charges you over $100 just to start. Visit the TRT experts today at Low T Center for a free consultation and free test. The treatment is personalized to your body, and most major insurance is accepted. And you'll get the freedom to choose if you want in-center care or at-home treatment. Looking to lose weight? Get a free B12 shot when you start prescription treatment. The offer is limited, so book now at fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com.
Oh, these polymers aren't as flexible as batch K3.
Researcher Laurie is stretched thin.
Did you get the vulcanization analytics from V66? Wait, are these rubber scores from last week?
She needs to hire new lab technicians so she can bounce back into her old self.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our matching platform lets you spend less time searching and more time connecting with candidates. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
For a lot of us, saving up a down payment can be the biggest barrier to buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is lowering down payments to 1% for eligible home buyers with ONE+. Because everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to get a head start on your starter home.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
We'll read your emails on the air, but we won't tell you where to send them. Hey, we're not doing all the work for you. This is Bishop and Friends.
Yeah, we'll do that tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. If we get enough emails, we'll do the segment. If not, we'll just do more Deontay Johnson, who we'll get to in a sec. One of Baker's favorite players and wide receiver for his Cleveland Browns. NBA draft tonight at 8 o'clock. Tomorrow night, Friday night, I should say, first round of the NHL draft. Join us Friday for the Blue Jackets draft special right here on The Fan. Bob McElligott and Dylan Ty are going to be live from Nationwide Arena as the Jackets look to add some exciting new talent to the lineup. It'll start Friday night at 6 o'clock. That's the Blue Jackets draft special, sponsored by Ohio Health, only on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination. You saw the CBJ with their preseason schedule released yesterday. They're going to start things Sunday, September 21st against the St. Louis Blues, and then close out things Saturday, October 4th at the Washington Capitals. So you have your full slate of preseason games. And what I think for the Jackets, who pick at 14 and at 20, you move one of those for a player. Or you move one of those and a player for a player that can play in one of those preseason games, not somebody you'll pick on a prospect.
And I think that's where you're at, Reese. Like, I don't think either the 14th or the 20th pick alone are going to get you something. I think what you use those picks for, and listen, I'm not totally angry if they use them both, right, to help improve this roster this year. But I think what you're doing is throwing that pick in as a sweetener for another deal. Or I don't know if you want to do this with a first-round pick, but maybe it's a sweetener in a deal that you get out from under a bad contract, like maybe an Elvis or a Damon Severson. I don't know if you want to do that with first-round picks, but whatever it is, this pick alone is not going to bring you something probably that's going to help you this year. But what you do is package both of those picks, one of those picks, for something that brings you.
And you had Aaron Portzline of The Athletic reporting a couple of minutes ago, actually. It doesn't sound as if there's been much movement recently between the Jackets and pending UFA Ivan Provorov. He says the sense that he gets is Don Waddell is working the trade phones. Hard to get a deal done for a right-side top-four player. Those aren't easy to find, so the cost is steep. Does putting a defenseman, Ivan Provorov, back in the Blue Jackets lineup do anything for you this season?
To me, no, and here's why. You talked about improving your defense. Well, your defense is the exact same, right? If you bring him and Fabro back. And it kind of sounded like there was movement on a Fabro deal. That's kind of cooled, but at the beginning of the week, that was there that maybe they were close on a deal. I like Ivan Provorov as a player, but I do not believe what Ivan Provorov brings to you on the ice is worth the contract he is about to get. And you also already have Zach Werenski and Denton Matejchuk on that left side that I think can hold down the left side in your top four. Now, Provorov showed that he could play on the right side this year. I would probably rather go get a right-handed defenseman if that was the case. I have been a big fan, Reese, of if you're getting another left side defenseman for the price, I would rather trade for maybe like a Bowen Byram. Or you get a right side defenseman, trade for a Rasmus Anderson. And I feel like maybe that helps your team, one of those two. Plus, they're younger than re-signing a Provorov.
And Provorov playing out the last season of a $40 million 6-year deal that he'd signed with the Flyers back in 2019.
I will say this, the one thing about Provorov, if you do pay him the money, you know what you're getting as far as he is going to be in the lineup pretty much every night, because outside of the COVID season, he hasn't missed a lot of games in his career. He's a guy that you know is going to be in that lineup for 82 games a season.
The Blue Jackets looking at a little over $40 million in cap space. That's tops in the league. So money to play with. The Browns are on the opposite side of that. They have no money. They cannot pay anybody because they gave a bunch of it to Deshaun Watson, who is massaging another Achilles tear and will not see the field likely this season. So Deontay Johnson, after being jettisoned from 3 teams, comes over to Cleveland. You're not being given much money because the Browns can't pay him much money, and it looks like he needs a team after refusing to get into a game for the Baltimore Ravens on Week 13 against the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, we had talked about his comments on a podcast called Sports and Suits yesterday about Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco and the Browns' plan of hope for the quarterback room this upcoming season. Well, Johnson was asked about his refusal to go into that game for the Ravens, who then suspended him, then cut him, then he ended up with the Texans, and then he was mad about his production in Houston, and so they jettisoned him. But Johnson talking about his refusal, quote, "I wasn't getting in, like no run plays, no passing plays, no nothing. It was cold. I'm on the sideline just standing there, just like going to the heater back and forth, just waiting to hear my name called. End of the third, going into the fourth, they're like, hey, we need you. I'm like, nah, I don't think it's a good idea for me. I was already thinking about my legs. I don't want to go out there and put bad stuff on film. It's not like I didn't want to go into the game, but leading up to this point, I'd already been through so much," end quote.
Welcome to the 53rd man on every roster, dude. Like, you're not that good. You were on 3 different rosters last year. This is not the kind of guy I want on my team. I know that much. I don't think you win with that guy.
Wouldn't you think that if you are a fringe guy on any roster and a coach says, hey, we need you go, absolutely. I'm warming everything up as best I can, and I'm going to go out there and try to put, because if you put nothing on film, you have nothing. But if you go out there and try to prove yourself right, and all of the haters and the doubters, of which for Deontay Johnson, there are many, prove them wrong, go out and put on some good film. Maybe it's just blocking. Maybe it's running some routes that you never get the ball thrown your way. But yeesh, this guy, I have no expectation to actually do anything for the Cleveland Browns this season, which, again, with the wide receiver room that has Cedric Tillman, Jerry Jeudy, the aforementioned Deontay Johnson, I feel better about Harold Fannin and David Njoku, because those two should be your primary targets.
I think this dude is going to look great as Max Duggan's third receiver for the St. Louis Battlehawks next year in the UFL. Ooh. Or maybe he can line up with Puka Nakua's brother and the Michigan Rough Riders and give them a nice wide receiver duo. I don't see any way this guy is on the Browns roster this year.
You don't think he makes the 53?
I don't. He's not worth the headaches. I understand they need receivers. He is not worth the headache.
I'm trying to remember if the Browns even drafted a wide receiver. I mean, Harold Fannin in the 3rd round.
I do not believe they did.
It's been such a miss for this team. I mean, going back to a couple iterations, getting the wide receiver pick right has just not been, or getting the wide receiver position right. I mean, the Amari Cooper thing, they were able to fleece that deal with the Dallas Cowboys, but no, it doesn't. The only pass catcher they got was Harold Fannin. So
I mean, listen, when you've got a great quarterback like Tom Brady in the Browns situation, right? You don't need. I mean, when your quarterback's really good, you don't need wide receivers. They'll just make it do.
Well, they haven't been able to figure that position out either.
Oh, so. They haven't? Whoops.
Yeah, this doesn't do a whole lot for the confidence meter as regards to the Cleveland Browns and the people that they have in their locker room.
There's not a lot the Cleveland Browns have done the past couple of years that move the confidence meter, does it? I mean, there's not a lot they've done that, yeah, that's a good move. I like that. Feel good as a fan of the Browns, the direction.
But I said at the beginning of the show we weren't going to talk about the Cleveland Browns. But that's
you're the one that did it.
So you're right. I am driving this ship right into the iceberg, and I realized that I saw it just as I was scrolling in a break with more comments from Deontay Johnson, and I knew that would trigger you as one of two Browns fans on this program. But I also said, well, I didn't say this, but the idea that we don't really talk baseball too much on the program, that's because that's what we led with. So no more Browns because there's baseball to be had, because there's excitement for one Ohio team in terms of Chase Burns, who, if you missed it last night, he struck out his first 5 batters, including Aaron Judge. The Reds won 5-4 in walk-off fashion. You had Gavin Lux with an RBI single in the 11th, but Burns struck out 8 in 5 innings of work. And Mike Petraglia, I just want to run this by you real quick because we talked about hope yesterday with Ellie De La Cruz and a Cincinnati Reds squad that now, if Burns can start to stack starts like this, that gives you extra hope leading into what could be a fun wild card race as you get into, September. Mike Petraglia says there have been only 2 Reds pitchers since 1900 with 8+ strikeouts, no walks in their MLB debut. Chase Burns last night and Johnny Cueto tonight, or Johnny Cueto in 2008. So fun for the Cincinnati Reds. And then I remember the update anchor saying at 11 o'clock that Gavin Williams is going to be starting against Max Scherzer tonight for the Toronto Blue Jays. And today I learned Max Scherzer was on the Toronto Blue Jays.
I believe Max Scherzer has had a run with just about every team in Major League Baseball right now. And it's pretty crazy for a guy. And he's obviously not the Max Scherzer that he was. But for a guy that has been one of the best pitchers in the game during his career, he has bounced around an awful lot.
Kind of like the Josh McCown of baseball players in getting almost a jersey from every single team. Do you have an officially endorsed?
I sure do.
You have a drink recommendation
right here
that we can give everybody.
I'll show it up to the people
on a First Friday. Coming up next, it's Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
A lot of hosts have been on our airways in the past 30 years. Some good, some bad, some really bad. Anyway, sorry for that. The Fan.
Protect your liver and give it the support that it deserves with Active Liver from New Nordic. Find in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, Amazon, or NewNordicUSA.com.
Hey friends, Beamer here. So did you jump in on Awaken 180's Lose 40 by the 4th challenge? Well, if you did, a huge congratulations to you on hitting a 40-pound goal in less than 2 months. That deserves some serious celebration. Speaking from experience, I dropped double digits my very first week on Awaken 180, and in just over 3 months, all 70 pounds were gone. Total game changer for me, and the results came lightning fast. Now, if you haven't jumped on board yet, there's no worries. There's still plenty of summer left to lose your 30, 40, 70 like I did, or even 100 pounds or more. I'm not saying you're going to drop 40 pounds next week, but if you have the same week 1 results I had, you'll definitely be on your way. Set your sights in August. Think summer barbecue, golf, the beach, every bit of it fits into your new Awaken 180 lifestyle. Lose weight, love summer, and thank me later. You can start today at awaken180weightloss.com, the official weight loss program of summer.
I've had a number of surgeries, and frankly, I don't have time to rehab a surgery and an operation at this point in my life. I didn't want to take time off my kids' activities.
That's why former college and pro football player Bobby Carpenter turned to QC Kinetics. We couldn't be happier saving our patients like him from operating rooms and long recoveries.
I've been able to resume normal activity for me, which is a lot of running. It's a lot of workouts. I've been very, very blessed with how it's been able to hold up.
For so long, patients have accepted surgery as the only solution. But with new technologies, the medical professionals at QC Kinetics use use regenerative treatments, your body's own biologics to help heal and restore knees, hips, shoulders, and backs.
I actually ran into a friend of mine over at our golf course, and he had his knee done. It felt so well. He'd got his shoulder done. He goes, I can't thank you enough. He'd heard the commercial on the air, and so it's feeling great.
Find out how you can avoid surgery and finally get relief. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
Master Grillers Unite. The grilling season never ends at Billiards Plus. Come see their best-in-class grills for yourself and check out Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family-owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
This is Corey Sickles with Safe Harbor Retirement Group. Reliable streams of income are crucial for retirees, and Social Security and pensions aren't enough. We can help. Visit safeharboroh.com to schedule a complimentary meeting. safeharboroh.com.
Newman Roofing, as part of their 2025 Commitment to Community initiative, is proud to sponsor the Fan and 10 TV's Beat the Heat Fan Drive, benefiting Life Care Alliance. You can help Ohio's most vulnerable residents deal with the extreme heat this summer. How can you help? Purchase new box fans and bring them to the nearest Franklin County Fire Station, or you can buy online and ship fans directly to Life Care Alliance. The collection and distribution of fans is to assist residents who are at risk of heat stroke or heat exhaustion. For more information, go to lifecarealliance.org.
What's the best way to make sure you don't miss any of your favorite fan shows? Oh no. Download the Fan app, silly.
Ah, damn it, I knew that.
App Store, Google Play, or just scream right at your phone. Psst, you can also listen to Buckeye games. Do it now.
It's child's play to donate your car, truck, RV, or boat to Ronald McDonald House Charities of Central Ohio. They'll pick it up free of charge, steer you through the paperwork, and a hefty tax deduction rolls your way as you help provide a home away from home for families of seriously ill hospitalized children. For more information about donating your vehicle to Ronald McDonald House Charities, visit rmhc-centralohio.org or call 614-CARS-HELP. That's 614-CARS-HELP.
Get summer blockbuster savings at Coughlin Kia, Central Ohio's largest volume Kia dealer. Right now, take up to $6,000 off MSRP on any new Kia in stock. Plus, get free maintenance for a full year when you buy. Get any new Kia with up to $6,000 off MSRP. Visit CoughlinKia.com.
Largest Kia dealer based on current ground stock at all 4 Coughlin Kia locations. 2025 Kia Sorento XY. MSRP $47,990. $3,000 Coughlin discount. $3,000 factory rebate. Residency restrictions may apply. See dealer for details. N7725.
Want to know anything about the Fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
When General Sherman marched through Georgia, he was listening to this show.
Use your skills for good, young warrior.
This is Bishop and Friends.
I do appreciate every guest that we have on this program, regardless of the day, regardless of who's on with us in studio. But I really appreciate Paul Feinbaum, who will be on with us tomorrow at 10:30. When I ask him just to double check, hey, you're good to come on with us Thursday at 10:30, he likes the question. And that's it. That's all I hear from him, and that's all I need.
He's a big emoji guy when he texts.
It's succinct and to the point. So, Paul, if you're listening, we appreciate you, but he will be on with us tomorrow at 10:30.
And all of our guests are busy, but Paul Feinbaum especially, right? I don't know if there's someone we talk to that's busier than him.
Jake Trotter does that as well. Well, I'll get a like or I'll get a thumbs up or one of those like green check mark emojis, but that's all you need. You don't need a paragraph. You don't need anything else just to let me know that you are good. Today's fan poll, which you can find at 971 The Fan, asks, do you think Cooper Flagg is more likely to live up to the hype and become one of the best NBA players or be a bust? 56% say he's going to live up to the hype. 44% say he's going to be a bust. Now, he's going number 1 overall to the Dallas Mavericks. I think that's pretty safe, where the NBA draft that starts tonight at 8 o'clock starts with the 2nd overall pick. That'd be the San Antonio Spurs.
And listen, if Cooper Flagg doesn't become the face of a franchise, that doesn't mean he's a bust. He can still be a number 2 or 3, have a 10 or 15-year career, and that's closer to being what he could have than a bust. Like that. There's almost no way Cooper Flagg is a bust.
Well, there's some pressure on you, Baker, to not have your officially endorsed be a bust.
Bishop and Friends present First Friday, officially endorsed, because everyone deserves 2 Fridays.
You drink for the wrong reasons.
My generation, we drink because it's good. Because it feels better than unbuttoning your collar. Because we deserve it. We drink because it's what men do.
And Reese, I got to tell you, I felt that pressure. So I was trying to rack my brain last night and trying to find something timely for us here and something that would be a nice, refreshing drink in these dog days of summer here that we are having in this heat wave in Central Ohio. And it came across that tomorrow is National Bomb Pop Day. You know, that beautiful red, white, and blue popsicle that we all used to get from the ice cream truck when it came around in the summer. And that got me thinking, I have had a Bomb Pop drink before. So the Bomb Pop drink, you're going to get yourself a highball glass at least. I like something a little bigger, maybe like a 16 or 20 ounce glass. You're going to fill it about a quarter of the way up, maybe an ounce or two with some grenadine. Then you're going to get, as Bo calls it, the Sonic Ice or some crushed ice. Then you're going to fill that glass with the ice. Then you're going to mix up your favorite citrus-flavored vodka with some lemonade. Then you're going to fill the glass with that lemonade and vodka mixture till there's maybe 2 or 3 inches from the top. Then you're going to fill it the rest of the way with some blue curacao. So you'll have a nice little refreshing citrusy lemonade flavored drink. And Reese, it's red, white, and blue. Looks just like a Bomb Pop. It'd be perfect for the UA 4th of July party for you to sit there and enjoy and sip on.
That sounds patriotic as hell. I'd suck one right now.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Buckeye Lake Marina, Central Ohio's largest selection of new and pre-owned boats. Find your next dream boat at BuckeyeLakeMarina.com.
I'm pretty sure we just got a new promo for the show. Thank you for that, Reese. I will be cutting that up and sending it to Bob.
First thing for me, driving home yesterday, I noticed that a staple of Northwest Columbus has closed its doors in the Fifth Avenue Floral Company.
Saw that too.
After decades in business. And I just want to thank everybody over there because that served me well on Valentine's Days, on birthdays, for I can't remember how long. Mother's Days. Everything has always been quality. The people there have always been wonderful. It's sad to see as they're taking the sign down and as that space, which was always gorgeous, was always filled with wonderful flowers, as that goes empty. And I just hope for, the best for everybody there because their service and everything about that place was the best.
I saw that this weekend and actually drove by the building yesterday, and that was weird seeing it all dark and nothing inside there. 21 years ago yesterday, gentlemen, maybe the greatest underdog story in sports history happened. I don't know if you know what that is or not, but I'm going to tell you. Average Joe's Gymnasium took down the mighty Globo Gym Purple Cobras on ESPN 8, the Ocho, saving the Average Joe's Gym and also maybe saving the Globo Gym as well, as one Peter LaFleur ended up taking that over with his winnings. Dodgeball, a great American classic.
So yesterday I went to the car wash, and I used to go to one of the ones that you subscribe, but I decided that those were too much money, so I canceled my membership and I went to a good old, self-serve one. Their card machine wasn't working, and I'm someone who never has cash. So I went home and I was like, where do I have cash? And I'm saying this for all the other parents out there that do this. I went straight into my kid's room and took $2 out of her piggy bank so I'd be able to wash my car, and I do not feel bad about it. I get her enough stuff. She's spoiled enough so I could, quote unquote, borrow $2 from my 6-year-old and me have no remorse.
Poor G.
She'll be all right.
She'll never know.
Exactly. She has so much money in there, she wouldn't know.
She'll never know.
She's 6, so she can count, but not that well.
I'll make that my second thing. It's a good lesson also to teach her that if she doesn't want anything taken, hide it better.
That's true.
It's a good one. My second thing, I feel like I should be getting rotisserie chickens more. Last night I didn't have anything out for dinner, and I had to make a run to Sam's Club, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to run back here and grab one of these $5 rotisserie chickens, and that'll be dinner. Well, that's turned into lunch today and maybe something for dinner tonight. It's very versatile and it's really super easy and convenient. I see myself making some nachos here in the next couple of days. Maybe throw some of that in a soup. Who knows? But I feel like for that $5, I can get like 5 meals out of it. I should be doing that more often.
You might have stumbled onto a topic for tomorrow's show, best food in a pinch.
All right, so yesterday during this hour, I said something about the basketball Buckeyes that I think I caused arguments in the YouTube chat. I think it was when I said that people should lower their expectations about the team. Well, it popped up for me that Ken Palm did his program ratings from 97 to 2025. He updates this every year. Number 15 team on that list, Ohio State Buckeyes, 15th best program since 1997. I don't think that's a terrible spot to be in. Just saying.
Certainly not. It's certainly historically, or since then, it's been great. I just think that the expectations every year need to be NCAA tournament or bust.
I do agree with that, though.
Final thing for me, just real quick. On this date, 1997, the NHL approved 4 new franchises: Nashville, Atlanta, Minnesota, and your Columbus Blue Jackets. I guess happy birthday?
Yeah, 25th season coming up this season. Final thing for me, and I'm sorry, Reese and Dylan, if you're taking shots in this. All of you that were complaining about the weather and got us this heat, I love you actually, but right now I hate you.
Final thing for me, listen to Rothman Ice. They're going to have Adam Schefter on at 12:30, and Bobby Carpenter will join them at 1:30.
All right. That's it for the substitute teachers. We're going to wheel out the AV cart because some professionals will step in. Fret not. We'll be back tomorrow. Paul Feinbaum, 10:30 on a Thursday. Bishop and Friends will join you at 9 a.m. on The Fan.
Bobby Carpenter demands that you watch Morning Juice on YouTube. If you don't, Tito will move into your house.
Live at 6 a.m. on YouTube and streaming on the Fan app.
This is 100% employee-owned now. It gives them a sense of pride.
It's always been a family business. We've benefited as owners from the work of all of these great employees for so long. Well, now everybody's an owner, so now everybody has a stake. It really is the culmination of the family business. The family just got bigger. We all know there's a difference between working for a paycheck and working for something that belongs to you.
Call Rizzotti today at 777-4806.
This just in from the Lindsay Honda Newsroom. It's our big anniversary sale. 0% for up to 60 months has been extended on all new Hondas. Drive a new 2025 CR-V LX all-wheel drive with 0% financing.
Lower your rate, lower your payment.
Save thousands on hundreds of new Hondas when you buy now.
With so many Hondas, why would you go anywhere else?
Shop the big, the beautiful Lindsay Honda now. Visit lindsayhonda.com for details.
Hey, it's Anthony. Comfort is king. We all strive for it, but life gets in the way. You know that. And oh, my aching feet is not just a cliche. That's why the Good Feet store, in my opinion, has the best arch support solutions engineered to help you and me live the life we love without pain. For more than 30 years, they've taken great pleasure in helping thousands discover the comfort they've been dreaming of. I'm a customer. I have their 3-step system put right into all my shoes. They support, balance, and strengthen my feet and really guide them right into their ideal position. Every step I take, every move I make, I get relief. Not from the song, although I love that, but from my personally fit arch supports from the Good Feet store. Your free fitting is designed to help them understand you, your pain, and your discomfort, your personalized system. You'll walk out wearing your new arch supports hassle-free and begin living the life you love without pain. The Good Feet store on Stringtown Road in Grove City or Polaris Parkway. Learn more at goodfeet.com.
What does it mean to live here, serve here in the Ohio Army National Guard?
It means I can attend college full-time and not have to take out student loans to pay for my tuition.
It means I can work my civilian job during the week and support my state and nation in times of need.
You too can live here, serve here as a member of the Ohio Army National Guard. Learn more about part-time service with full-time benefits at nationalguard.com/OH. Sponsored by the Ohio Army National Guard in coordination with the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Matty Ice here. When I needed a new Chevy, I headed to McDaniel GM Superstore in Marion. Right now, get up to $12,000 off MSRP on a 25 Silverado LD. They've got no market adjustments, no hidden costs, and sales managers are on the floor ready to help. That's been the McDaniel difference since 1916. They're just a short drive north off Route 23 in Marion, or you can visit McDanielGMSuperstore.com. McDaniel GM Superstore, where great deals meet a century of trust. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
This summer, save more with hot deals on Meyer brand must-haves for $2 or less all season long.
Like Meyer potato chips?
Yep.
Hamburger buns?
Of course.
Ketchup?
Absolutely.
How about Meyer lemonade? That's my favorite.
Yep, that too. Plus pickles, baked beans, cheese slices for sandwiches. It's your favorite Meyer brand must-haves for $2 or less all season long.
That's a good deal better.
Only at Meyer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meyer app.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
4th of July savings are here at the Home Depot, so it's time to get your grilling on. Pick up the Traeger Pro Series 22 pellet grill and smoker, now on special buy for $389, was $549. Smoke a rack of ribs or bake an apple pie, this grill is versatile enough to do it all. This summer, no matter how you like your steaks, your barbecues are guaranteed to be well done. Celebrate 4th of July with fast free delivery on select grills right now at the Home Depot. Subject to availability.
Introducing the new Dell AI PC, powered by the Intel Core Ultra processor. It helps do your busy work for you, so you can fast forward through editing images, designing presentations, generating code, debugging code, summarizing meeting notes, finding files, managing your schedule, responding to Jim's long emails, leaving all the time in the world for the things you actually want to do. No offense, Jim. Get a new Dell AI PC starting at $749.99 at Dell.com/AI-PC. How those ahead stay ahead.
Broadcasting from the